McLemore. As a proud alumnus and a parent of two Trojan students, I can personally attest to the benefits of a St. James education. At St. James School, our purpose is to build up every child from the inside out, to encourage each heart, to build character, and to elevate potential. Every day, we work hard to live out our purpose in the classroom, on the stage, and on the field. Thank you to the following businesses who have partnered with us to support and build up our students this year: Adams Drugs, Alabama 811, Baptist Ortho Now, Breck Honey State Farm, Brindle Sprinkler Company, Bush Law Firm, CB&S Bank, Dentistry for Children, Doug's 2 Salon, Guntharp Financial, Dr. Derek Wessner and Dr. Lee Murphy from Houston Clinic, Just for Grins Orthodontics, Judge J.C. Love, Merrill Lynch Webb Chastain, Merrill Lynch Jake Ray, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Montgomery Dentistry, Montgomery Paint and Body, Moore Company Realty, On Point Habitat Management, Pinion Law Firm, Regions, River Bank and Trust, Southern Specialty Physicians, Attorney Katie Steenwinder, Tanner Landscaping, and Zaxby's. Go Trojans!
There's a poem you might remember from high school literature. It begins like this: if you can keep your head about you when all others around you are losing theirs. You know, I was thinking about that poem this week. If you can keep your head about you when the circumstances might cause you to lose yours. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It's Friday night in Alabama, and this is St. James Trojan Football. We join you tonight from a place where St. James has never, ever been, at least not in football. As the Trojans have traveled to Cleburne County, we're here in Heflin at Bale Stadium, where the Trojans will take on the Cleburne County Tigers in yet another important region game. You see, if you look at the record, the Trojans are 1-6. You might begin to, lose your head. But you know, there are 3 region games left to be played, and as strange as it is to say, the Trojans hold their playoff destiny in their own hands. They've run out of options. They've run out of mulligans. The Trojans must win tonight, next week against Tallahassee, the week after against Munford. And if they can do that, they keep their 11-year playoff streak alive. So we're in a new place. But I ask you an old question with a little bit of apologies to Kipling. Can you keep your head about you when the circumstances might make others lose theirs? And if you can, he's Brad Armagost and I'm Sonny Brasfield. And this is St. James Trojan Football.
A fire can spread through your home or business in less than 2 minutes. That's why it's important to think ahead and have the proper fire protection installed before it's needed. Brindle Sprinkler Company can inspect your current system and help make sure that you have the proper equipment when it's needed. Brindle works in new construction, existing homes, and renovations. They not only want to help extinguish fires, they want to save lives. Since 1960, with over 5,000 successful installations. Find them online at brindlesprinkler.com.
A Regions checking account can help you take your next step in life by giving you smarter, more convenient ways to manage your money. Open a Regions checking account today and bank safely and securely in a branch, online, on your phone, or with a phone call. You'll also love conveniences like text alerts, Regions mobile deposit, and our new bill pay system. Ready to move your life forward? To open a Regions checking account today, visit a branch or log on to regions.com/open now. Regions Bank. Message and data fees may apply to mobile services. Mobile deposit subject to fees.
Hi, I'm Shelly Nichols. If you see home ownership in your future, the future is now. Helping people get mortgages is what I do at Cross Country Mortgage. I'll help you find the home financing option that's right for you. Go to my website at ccm.com/Shelly Nichols and follow me on social media. Contact me today at Cross Country Mortgage about a home loan. Equal housing opportunity, subject to credit approval, NMLS 430123, company NMLS 3029, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is Judge J.C. Love in the Montgomery County Probate Court, wishing the St. James Trojans football team a winning and successful football season. Go Trojans. And while we're cheering for victory on the field, we're also protecting victories at home. Don't let property title fraud take away what you've worked so hard to build. Sign up today for the Probate Court's REACT program, the Real Estate Activity Alert and Contact Tool. It's free, it's fast, and it helps safeguard your property. Protect your property, protect your future. Learn more at www.reactnow.com. That's www.reaactnow.com. Go Trojans.
Well, we're back here at L.E. Bell Stadium. It's St. James versus Cleburne County in Game 8 of the high school football season. Seems like we just got started the other day, but it has been a long journey for this St. James football team, undermanned both in numbers and in size and in experience at the important positions. But the journey has traveled and has unfolded in a way that allows St. James the opportunity to hold their playoff future in their hands tonight. And we'll get into a little more detail about that in the next segment. We want to tell you a little bit about this opponent. The Cleburne County Tigers. You're saying to yourself, where's Cleburne County? If you know where Anniston is, we've traveled up Highway 9 and we're east of Anniston, between Anniston and the Alabama-Georgia line, in the town of Heflin, the county seat in Cleburne County. A football team that has had its struggles of its own, but in the last couple of weeks seems to have gotten its offensive house in order. And, you know, if you've been with us all season, you're not surprised that things would bounce this way for the Trojans. If they could have found Cleburne County about a month ago, you know, the challenge to the St. James defense would be much more manageable. This football team in the last 2 weeks has really come alive offensively, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail. But the Tigers are 2-4 on the season, 1-3 in region play. In region play, they've defeated Talladega, a team that's does not have a win in region play. They defeated that version of the Tigers 29-8, a very similar score to the Trojans' victory over Talladega. And then they've lost to Hanley 36-10. They lost to Booker T. Washington 24-7, very similar score. St. James lost 26-6 last Friday night to BTW. While at the same time, this Tigers team had traveled down to Tallahassee to play that version of the Tigers in their homecoming game and led the entire game and gave up a heartbreaking touchdown in the last minute to fall to Tallahassee 23-16. So in region play, the Tigers 1-3, and their playoff hopes have dwindled. Really, winning out would require a win over Bullitt County, which certainly is possible, but some other help as well for Tallahassee for Cleburne County to be able to make the playoffs. They've only made the playoffs once since 2015. That was back in 2023 when they traveled down to Clark County in the first round of the playoffs and lost 44-7 to Jackson. But this is a proud football team that not so long ago played in the state championship game in Class 4A. But for the last few years, Cleburne County has been in a rebuilding mode. They have a new coach, or at least a second-year coach, Vaughn Lee. He only has 3 victories in this year and 8 games so far. But this football team, as I said, is improving significantly, and we'll give you some numbers to back that up. They changed quarterbacks 2 games ago in a non-region game against Walter Welborn, a 3A team from up in Cleburne County. And the Tigers won that game 41-12, and it really, really was the coming out party for their 9th grade quarterback, Jalen Baker. And then last week, Baker played very, very well against Tallahassee and really led his football team as though he's a much more experienced quarterback than his 9th grade age would show. On the season, in those two games, he's 27 of 39 for 415 yards, 5 touchdowns on 2 interceptions. And this football team was very, very, very run heavy before they made this change at quarterback. Cade Schubert had quarterback the first 4 games of the season and has moved to receiver, and in the last 2 weeks has caught 13 passes. So certainly this coaching move has paid dividends for Cleveland County as they are rounding into much, much better shape as the season begins to come to a conclusion. We'll have 2 big receivers to watch tonight. That's Cade Schubert, as we mentioned, and then Lyric Ware, who has got 14 catches for 225 yards and a touchdown. To put that in perspective, those 2 receivers together have almost as much receiving yards as St. James' entire team has for the year. So this football team really, really has been ignited in the last couple of weeks. Even running the football has improved. They've rushed for 280 yards in the last 2 games on 44 carries, and their running attack is led by a senior who really hurt St. James last year. I didn't mention that this is only the second meeting. In the first meeting last season at Carlisle Field, the Trojans won that game 55-35. It was 55-28 late, and Cleveland County scored literally on the last play of the game. But in that game, this running back that we'll see tonight, Carter Hughes, the senior, he had touchdown runs of 52 and 50 yards. Not a really big guy, but plenty fast. And on the season, he has 504 yards on 99 carries, meaning he's averaging 16 carries a game. And so if I'm going to tell you the challenge to the St. James defense is pretty easy. You've got to put some pressure on this 9th grade quarterback. You got to keep your eyes on 2 very effective receivers. Oh, and while you're at it, you've got to make sure that Carter Hughes doesn't have rushing touchdowns of more than 50 yards like he did last season in the Trojans' 55-35 win. That was a really big night for St. James last year. The Trojans rolled up 411 yards in total offense. And perhaps for the first time in St. James history, I dug through the stjtrojans.com website managed by J.R. Brown over the week and couldn't find this, but the Trojans rushed for 4 touchdowns and passed for 4 touchdowns in the same game last year in that victory over Cleveland County. So that was a night. We don't expect St. James to rush for 4 touchdowns and pass for 4 touchdowns tonight. The challenge for the Trojans will be to slow down this improving offensive team so that what's become a very ground-centric offense for the Trojans can stay within its game plan. You know, last Friday night, and we'll talk about this in the next segment, but the Trojans got behind early in the second half, trailed only 7-6 at halftime, got behind early in the second half, and then when they had to turn to trying to throw the football, just to be quite honest, the wheels came off the wagon, and St. James has got to stay ahead or keep this game very, very close tonight, and that will mean slowing down the offense on an improving football team here from Cleveland County. You don't know much about them. Most of you probably never been to Heflin, but it's a beautiful stadium here on a great night for high school football. L.E. Bell Stadium, it's turf field, and so St. James will have the opportunity to play on a little bit faster track than normal. The Tigers' colors are red and black, and they'll be in all black tonight, or at least that's what we expect as we get ready for this football game between St. James and Cleveland County. It's a big one for the Trojans because their playoff opportunities are still alive, even at a 1-6 record. The Trojans don't need any help from anyone in the region. Win tonight, win the next 2, and you're in the playoffs. As we said in the opening, if you stay with us, we'll be right back. This is St. James Football on WRBZ.
Discover your stunning new look at Doug's 2 Salon. Find your breathtaking new hairstyle or color with our expert stylists and salon artists and look absolutely radiant with our extensions, balayage, and keratin treatments. You'll find products from Aveda and Bumble and Bumble. So even when you leave the salon, you keep looking sensational. Call to make your appointment and look and feel amazing today.
I'm Cliff Meidel, two-time Olympic athlete in the sport of sprint kayaking. In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811.
Accidents can happen to anyone. Know what's below. Always call 811 before digging. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Derek Cunningham, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. We're a proud supporter of St. James football. Being a member of this community and knowing that these students are part of our community, we at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office would like to let you know that we support you this football season and we're here for you this football season.
If joint pain or athletic injury has you out of a game, call the Houston Clinic team at 334-245-6605. Doctors Lee Murphy and Derek Wessner are seasoned healthcare providers working to provide high-quality sports medicine care to the athletes of the River region. Dr. Murphy is an orthopedic surgeon. His clinical focus is on shoulder, elbow, and knee disorders. Dr. Wessner is a veteran and primary care sports medicine physician specializing in the primary care treatment of all musculoskeletal conditions. Visit Doctors Murphy and Wessner at Houston Clinic on Taylor Road in Montgomery.
Well, we're back here in Cleburne County. We mentioned in the lead up that the Trojans have never played football here before, and they haven't, but just behind us from the visitor stands is the school and the gymnasium, and the St. James wrestling team makes an annual trip up here to Cleburne County for a wrestling match that they call the Rumble in the Jungle, and I'm not so sure you can call tonight's football game between the 2 and 4 Tigers and 1 and 6 St. James Trojans, a Rumble in the Jungle, but it is certainly an important football game, believe it or not, because of the way the region standings lay out. And as we start turning our attention toward kickoff, let's talk a little bit about where we are. The three weeks remain in the season, and each of the teams in Region 3 Class 4A have 3 region games to go, and much of the seeding for the playoffs, the top 4 teams in each region do make the playoffs, has been decided, though not officially, but basically. So let's talk about that a little bit. Handley at 6-1, 4-0 in the region. Booker T. Washington 4-1 on the regular season and 4-0 in the region. Handley and Booker T. Washington sit atop the region standings, and they will play 2 weeks from tonight on October 24th. That for what should be, unless there's a big upset between now and then, should be for the region championship, and the loser of that game almost certain to have the second seed. So we'll kind of set Handley and Booker T. Washington aside and say the two of them have pretty much clinched the playoffs, and they have. Bullitt County 3-1 in region play, 5-1 in the regular season. They have games left against Talladega, Booker T. Washington, and Cleburne County, and Bullitt County can finish anywhere from 1st to 4th in region standings. Most likely they find themselves at 2nd or 3rd in region play. And so those 3 spots, not officially decided, but pretty much decided. And so you have really 4 teams now jockeying for that 4th place spot and the chance to get to play in the playoffs. For St. James, it's really important because the Trojans have played in the playoffs 11 straight seasons, the longest streak in school history by far. And so, you know, this football team, which has faced an enormous amount of challenges, and, you know, we don't want to talk about that every week as we get ready for kickoff. At some point, you begin to think Sonny Brasfield's poor mouthing, and that's not what we're doing. We're just telling you the truth. I think St. James will dress out 32 players tonight. 2 8th graders So really only 30 high school players will dress out tonight. And among that, several ninth graders that are just not really ready to be put out on a varsity football field. So the Trojans challenged in numbers, challenged in size, and as you know, playing without anyone who had any experience before the season started at quarterback. And with all of that said, as we sit here on Friday night in Cleveland County in Heflin, Alabama, the Trojans can still make the playoffs, and they need no help from anyone else. St. James makes the playoffs if they win their final 3 games tonight here at Cleveland County, and then the season will close at home a week from tonight against Tallahassee and 2 weeks from tonight against Munford. Now, if you're 1-6, saying all you have to do, air quotes, is to win 3 straight games is saying a lot. But when we began tonight talking about this theme from Kipling's poem, If, and where we are is if St. James can find a way, if the Trojans could leave here tonight somehow getting this victory, and they play a football team that's not that much bigger than St. James, not that much faster than St. James, a team that the Trojans handled very, very easily last season. If you could get out of here with a win tonight, then if that can happen, then anything could happen, and this football team could make it to the playoffs. Let's talk a little bit about how the 4 teams jockeying for that last spot look. We'll see Cleveland County tonight, and we'll talk about them in a moment. Tallahassee is a disappointed 3-3 on the season. I think anyone over there in Tallapoosa County would tell you, and in Elmore County, as the city sits right on the banks of the Tallapoosa River on the Elmore County side, but the community stretches on both sides of the river. And I think anybody over there would tell you that a 3-3 record from this football team is extremely disappointing. They all opened the season losing 52-6, I believe, to Montgomery Academy. And then the next week, St. James played the Eagles off their feet and lost the first heartbreaker of the season, 14-7. But Tallahassee 3-3 in the regular season, 2-2 in region play. Games left against Handley tonight. A game that, most would suspect Handley to win and likely to win fairly easily. St. James next Friday night, and then they close the season out in Talladega. Talladega really going nowhere, 0-4 in the region. So that's a game you have to assume Tallahassee is likely to drop. To win, excuse me. It's a game against Talladega that Tallahassee is likely to win. Tonight's game against Handley, a game that Tallahassee is likely to drop. And if those 2 games go that way, then Tallahassee's pathway to the playoffs is to defeat St. James. If they can defeat St. James and Talladega, they've already beaten Munford. They've already beaten Cleveland County, 2 teams that are 1-3. And Tallahassee would likely be in. Almost certainly would be in. Cleveland County with a game tonight against St. James. On the road against Munford a week from tonight, and then they close out region play at home against Bullitt County. Cleveland County can get in by winning out, and they have to win out to get in. A win by the Trojans tonight would eliminate Cleveland County, but the Tigers have to win tonight, next week against Munford, and against Bullitt County, and St. James has to defeat Tallahassee next week. Tallahassee defeated Cleveland County last Friday night, scoring a touchdown in the last minute to do so, and that gives Tallahassee the tiebreaker over Cleveland County. So the Tigers have to win out and get a little help next week from St. James against Tallahassee. Munford, the other team that's at 3-3, Tallahassee 2-2 in the region, Cleveland County, Munford, and St. James at 1-3. Munford must win out, and then they have to have a ton of help to make the playoffs, so much so that listening on the radio, I would confuse you so much it would be difficult for you to understand I think, and to follow me, you would probably tune us out. So we're not going to go into that. We'll say Munford is a long shot. St. James, the only one of the three teams in legitimate position to win that fourth playoff spot. St. James is the only team really that has its fate in its own hands. They need no help. Win tonight. Go home for the last two games. Beat Tallahassee, a team that's 3-3 on the season, and certainly there are some comparable scores that make you feel like St. James has a chance in that game, and then close out the season on senior night against Munford. So there is a pathway for the Trojans to continue this amazing streak that would extend to 12 seasons, but it's going to rest in great measure on how this St. James defense can stop the Cleburne County passing attack. As we mentioned in the pregame, in the last 2 weeks, they have just amazingly improved 380 yards through the air in the last two games on 26 of 34 passing, 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. And we say all that on the heels of a game last week that just honestly, like many of the games this season, St. James could have easily won, despite the fact that they lost 26-6. The Trojans trailed 7-6 at halftime and gave up an 81-yard touchdown pass late in the third quarter to make it 14-6, and then a 60-yard touchdown pass as the Trojans honestly just were fatigued late in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, St. James just had nothing in the gas tank. And that is a fear tonight. Although it's a little cooler tonight and we're a little farther north, the humidity is down. Those things give St. James an opportunity, I think, to be able to hang in here tonight. We'll see the Trojans in the wing tee again tonight. Mason Craig at quarterback. You'll hear a lot about Miles Zakowski and Grant Phillips running the football for the Trojans together. Almost 500 yards rushing and 9 TDs on the season. St. James still being plagued by turnovers. Last Friday night, again, that was part of the story against Booker T. Washington. But again, the Trojans trailed only 7-6 at halftime on the strength of 2 Dylan Hines field goals. The Trojans had an opportunity on their first possession, driving deep into Booker T. Washington territory, going for it on fourth down rather than trying a field goal and not making it. Later in the first quarter, with the score still 0-0, the Trojans missed a field goal. So St. James really had 4 scoring opportunities and got only 6 points out of it. And tonight, if St. James is to get this victory and to keep hope alive, the Trojans must be able to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves in this football game tonight. And they also must be able to protect the football and not turn the ball over against this Cleburne County football team that's hungry. They believe they still have a chance to make the playoffs, even though they need a little help from both Handley and St. James defeating Tallahassee. The first prescription for Cleburne County is to win this football game tonight. This is not a team that knows much about St. James, and St. James is not a team that knows much about Cleburne County. Only the second time, as we've mentioned, that these teams have ever played each other. They do have common opponents, 3 common opponents: Handley, Talladega, and Booker T. Washington. Both teams defeated Talladega by very similar scores. The Trojans won 35-10. Cleburne County won 22-8. St. James lost last week 26-6 to Booker T. Washington. Cleburne County lost 24-7. St. James lost 42-0 to Handley. Cleburne County lost 35-10. So, all those things say this ought to be a pretty evenly matched football game tonight. And as is generally the case on games that are evenly matched, it'll turn on turnovers. It'll turn on the kicking game. And certainly St. James continues to rely on Dylan Hines. He continues to punt the ball very, very well. But St. James has got to keep the football. St. James has got to be able to gain yardage on first down. Last Friday night, first down was nothing short of a disaster, especially in the second half. You run the wing tee that's predicated on misdirection and motion and getting 3 or 4 yards at a crack. You lose 3 yards, 2 yards, 4 yards on first down, and it becomes 2nd and 12, 2nd and 14. This offense just does not work. And St. James, again, first down will be a key. When we get ready to wrap things up tonight, all we'll have to do is talk about how did the Trojans do on first down. Were the Trojans able to get a little bit of help from their passing game? In the last 2 weeks, they've just, to be very blunt, have not been able to throw the ball at all. And did the Trojans protect the football and not turn it over? If the answer to those questions are yes, then St. James has got a good chance to get out of here with the second victory of the season and to start a set of dominoes that could continue the Trojans' playoff streak. So it's St. James versus Cleveland County tonight. Trojans at 1-6 and looking to turn things around here on the road in a place where they've never played football before. And we had the chance a little earlier today to speak with head coach Larry Ware and talk a little more X and O's and talk a little bit about his football team, the physical condition, and how he feels about tonight's football game. So you stay with us. We'll take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have our visit with head coach Larry Ware. It's St. James versus Cleveland County, and you're listening to St. James football on WRBZ.
Go, go, go! That's life. And at CB&S Bank, we help you keep up. We're redesigning financial freedom with the most sophisticated digital products. Check balances, pay bills, transfer funds, manage your card, and even deposit checks from wherever you are. Make purchases using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile device with Mobile Wallet in participating stores and restaurants. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
From all the employees at Adams Drugs, we want to say thank you to those who already trust us with your health care and prescription needs. If you are looking for a pharmacy, we would like to invite you to visit our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find a location nearest to you. We have 12 locations in the River region with services such as wellness screenings, blood pressure checks, and compounding, just to name a few. Please come in and experience the Adams Drugs difference. We look forward to serving you and your family.
All aboard for Healthy Smiles. At Dentistry for Children, they love to make kids smile. Dr. Schreiber and Dr. Thomas specialize in pediatric dentistry, treating infants, children, and patients with special needs. You can trust Dentistry for Children to provide the highest quality care for children of all ages. Beautiful smiles begin at Dentistry for Children. Call today to make your appointment with their professional, caring staff. Dentistry for Children in Montgomery and Wetumpka, proudly making kids smile for over 40 years.
Nothing gets your attention like the pain you get when it hurts to walk. When you have that pain, reach out to Southern Specialty Physicians. Dr. Brian Sellers is a board-certified vascular surgeon with over 15 years of experience. And Dr. Brandon McCullum is an experienced podiatrist. Southern Specialty Physicians are working to keep Alabama walking. Located across from the AUM Water Tower on Sydney Curve and online at ssp.care.
We get closer to kickoff. It's St. James versus Cleveland County in an important region game, and our opportunity to visit with head coach Larry Ware of the Trojans. Coach, it's hard to believe it's game 8. I know you've been at it a long time, though.
Yeah, it really is hard. But, you know, when you look around, you see the leaves falling and it started to cool off a little bit. It's about that time. Everybody looking for the first weekend in November, you know. Hopefully with the win tonight, we can start looking toward it too.
Well, we've been talking about that in the pregame, and that is, you know, the Trojans are the only team in the region who have played Bullitt County, Booker T. Washington, and Handley. And, you know, those 3 teams pretty much have spots 1 through 3 locked up. But you're also the only team now win these last 3 games and you get that 4th spot. So even though the season hadn't gone the way you wanted to, your men have something to continue to play for.
Yeah, we tell our kids, we've been telling our kids the last couple of weeks, it ain't over till it's over. And, you know, and they're believing in what we're telling them. And they know that these next 3 games starting tonight, you know, are our destination. You know, we got to win one to get in, and next week we have to win another one to get in, and so forth and so on. So tonight's the most important one because it's the next one. So we're going to do the best we can to do what we got to do.
Well, we're a pretty good piece, as they used to say in rural Alabama, from the St. James campus. About a 2.5-hour bus ride up here. It's a different looking stadium too, with turf and LED lights and those kinds of things. It ought to be a fun night.
Yeah, should be fun. The lights are going to flash every time they do something good or score a touchdown. It's really nice facilities. Really wish everybody could get a chance to see what they got going on here. It's unique.
Well, it is, and but this football team has much like St. James, they've had difficulties this year as well. They have made some changes in the last couple of weeks, and they've played much better. Last Friday night, Cleveland County really should have beaten Tallahassee. They let the game get away. What kind of challenges do they present for your defense tonight?
Defensively, they're going to put some formations on the field with their offense that's going to cause us some problems. They'll play with a 1 tight end set, 2 tight end set in a wing, and then also have some people split out. So it's going to stress us thin a little bit on how we're going to declare to which side is our strength and get lined up properly. I feel like if we line up properly, we can do what we need to do to maybe create some stops.
Well, and they, unlike the last couple of weeks where the team you were playing didn't necessarily like to throw the ball, Cleveland County's adjusted a little bit in the last couple of weeks, and they've thrown the ball a bunch.
Yeah, they have. And, you know, we got 2 different types of poisons. If you got speed and you can run the ball, that's a poison for us, which you saw last week. If you're athletic and you can throw the ball, that's poison for us, and you're going to see that tonight. Cleveland County does a really good job of mixing up their play and their run, and they're passing their run, and you know they're going to take some shots down the field. We got to be ready for it.
Well, and on the offensive side for St. James, I know you continue to expand this shift in formation, and we saw a lot of different things last Friday night, and I assume you've got some different adjustments this week too.
Yeah, we do. We have different adjustments. Last Friday night was all done because of the size and speed of the team we played. You know, we had to try to find some mismatches, some advantages, which we didn't find a lot of. We didn't score offensively as we have done in the past since moving to this offense. Hopefully tonight we'll be okay. But, you know, what it really boils down to, we got to line up and hit somebody. And our kids know that, and we're prepared to do that. And hopefully, you know, we will do it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the team in terms of the mental side of things. Certainly, the record you have now is not the record you wanted, not the record the guys wanted. How are the things in the locker room?
Right now, morale is fine. You know, coaches and we were talking Sunday and Monday. Actually, we had a side conversation about, you know, will some of these kids check out, you know, if we continue to lose, you know. But I had a senior that came to me and in private and expressed his thoughts on what his plans was for the rest of the season. And I thought it was very admirable that he came to me and expressed that to me. And basically what he said was, Coach, I'm not going to check out regardless of what happens, you know. And he's a bit banged up. And I asked him if he would express that to the team at the end of practice on Monday, and he did, you know. And I want all the seniors to have that same mentality. And then the juniors will look at those seniors and want to play for them. Yeah. And then because next year they're going to be in that same role, you know. So hopefully that leadership that we had Monday will spread like wildfire within the boys, and you know they won't check out on us.
Well, it's an important game. St. James has a chance to extend the school's longest playoff participation record right now at 11 straight seasons. All that's right in front of you, and it starts tonight in Cleveland County. And I know you're busy and need to get back to work, so I'm going to let you go and just say good luck tonight, and let's get one for the Trojans.
Well, I appreciate it. It just happened to be me coaching this year that putting it on the line like that.
That's all right. It's not the first time something's been on those shoulders. You know how it is.
That's true.
You can handle it. We'll be right back. This is St. James Football on WRBC.
When you speak with patients at Just for Grins Orthodontics, you hear things like, the staff is great. My daughter's teeth look perfect. I've been using them for over 2 years, and my service has been nothing short of amazing. Or, my teeth have always made me a little self-conscious. Just for Grins fixed that, and not only do my teeth look great, they make me feel great. If you or your family need braces or Invisalign in a lively environment using the latest technologies with over 3 decades of experience, let's make the smile of your dreams a reality. Visit justforgrinsortho.com. A fire can spread through your home or business in less than 2 minutes. That's why it's important to think ahead and have the proper fire protection installed before it's needed. Brendel Sprinkler Company can inspect your current system and help make sure that you have the proper equipment when it's needed. Brendel works in new construction, existing homes, and renovations. They not only want to help extinguish fires, they want to save lives. Since 1960, with over 5,000 successful installations. Find them online at brendelsprinkler.com.
Confidence, experience, credibility. When your family is at stake, you need an attorney who's built a reputation on these 3 words. Katie Steenwinder. Whether it's divorce, custody, adoptions, or child support, Katie Steenwinder. Serving clients from Prattville and Wetumpka to Montgomery and Elba, Katie Steenwinder has developed her reputation with credibility, experience, and confidence. Call the law office of Katie Steenwinder in Montgomery, 262-2844. When your family is at stake, Katie Steenwinder. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you're looking for commercial real estate, Moore Company Realty is your go-to choice. The experienced team has a deep understanding of local markets and can help you find the perfect commercial property for sale or lease. They also offer comprehensive commercial property management services to ensure your investment is well taken care of. Their expertise and dedication to client satisfaction has allowed them to thrive for over 130 years. Find out more at moorecompanyrealty.com.
Well, we're about ready to get things started here in Cleburne County at L.E. Bell Field. St. James and the Cleburne County Tigers down to our left. The Trojans gathering to enter the field. It's going to be a little different tonight. No St. James band and no St. James cheerleaders. You might be aware that St. James had fall break this week, and so we're not here in Cleburne County by ourselves, JR, but almost by ourselves.
Pretty much. Well, there we go. Pretty much all by ourselves. It's about a 95-mile drive up Highway 9, or a lot longer drive if you took the way the bus took. And let's hope that doesn't affect the players tonight, because the bus driver was actually routed up Interstate 65, go around 459 to 20, and it took 2 hours and 15 minutes to go from I-85 up to Calera. So by then they decided, no, we got to find another way. So we went up the sideways, didn't get to the stadium until after 5 o'clock, which prevented them from getting their pregame meal. So we'll see. Hopefully that won't affect their routine on these long away games.
Yeah, I do think they did get food here.
They did, yes. They got
here
from a restaurant in Oxford where they ate last year when they played Munford.
Well, and it's a little bit unusual in that we're at a place that I know. I've been coming to Heflin for almost 40 years now. Kathy from here, grew up here, was in that marching band, and part of the family here tonight, and part of the family, our cheerleaders still back in Montgomery, I'm sure, listening to St. James versus Cleburne County. And after all that, it's a pretty doggone important high school football game for 2 football teams trying desperately to get into the playoffs. Cleburne County 2-4 on the season, and St. James are extremely disappointing 1-6. But if I were not talking on the radio, I would say tonight's game is likely going to be a much fairer fight than what we've seen on 3 or 4 weeks this season, when St. James has been outsized, outspeeded, if that's a word, and outnumbered. It's much closer to a fair fight tonight, and the Trojans, JR, don't know if it'll help or not, but they're in my favorite uniform tonight, in that solid white.
Solid white. Yeah, that's the first time this season, and let's hope it does something.
And Cleburne County in solid black, including black helmets, Black jerseys with white numbers with the LSU red and white piping on the shoulders, red and white stripes. Thank goodness, as everybody knows, I hate me some football pants with no stripes. Trojans in solid white. The jersey numbers are in blue, the helmet in white with the gold and blue trim on the top, and St. James will kick off, correct?
That's correct.
Won
They
the
won the
toss.
toss and elected to defer, as they did last week. The first, I believe it was 5 weeks of the season, they either won the toss and took the ball first, or either were the victim of a defer, and they had the first possession the first 5 games of the season. So,
all right, let me take 1 second, JR, to thank you last week for handling the play-by-play duties, and you've taken care of 3 of those road games this season, and that's the hardest part of doing this business, and we appreciate it very much.
oh, well, thank you. They were tough games. I couldn't have done it without Wes Stewart. Got to give
He
him
did a
all the
great
credit
job.
in the world. Technical director. I mean, I can't think of enough titles to give him.
He did a great job getting us set up tonight as well. And
Right.
I think Wes has gotten him a permanent job. He sits to our left, and we're about ready to go for the Trojans. Dylan Hines will boot it away. Not very many people here, and not very many players on St. James sidelines, as we have said all season, but you can't put but 11 out there at the time. And there's Gus Brassfield, who's arrived. Give me 5, buddy, and say, let's go Trojans. All right, there's a ball in the air here in Heflin, and this one's going into the end zone. And the Tigers will start on their own 20-yard line. St. James on defense. We'll be watching Miles Zakowski and Henry Wright, those inside linebackers, and see if the Trojans can get started off on a good foot this Friday night. Again, a football team 0-6. I don't think there's anything more important than getting off on a good foot. If the Trojans could get the football back with this game still 0-0, I think we can see a much, much better fight. We'll get the starters up front for you in a second. Cleveland County with a shift of both the tight end and a running back. 4 wide receivers now, 2 each way. Quarterback straight back to pass, under a little pressure. That one's tipped and incomplete. What a nice play out there for the Trojans. Grant Phillips tipped that baby away, and it's incomplete.
I tell you who you have to watch out for, of course, is Luke Catchings. You know, he made an interception on the first drive of the game, read a slant pass perfectly. He was in the neighborhood again, but like the first half of the game last week, St. James was in it because they kept the opponent pinned in their zone, and if they can force a 3 down here, that'd be wonderful.
Straight ahead, nothing much there. Miles Zakowski hits him along with Henry Wright to help clean it up. Pick up of maybe a yard. Not sure they're going to give him anything. It's going to be 3rd down and long. Cleveland County back to the line of scrimmage quickly. They're spreading St. James all over the place. 3 wide receivers this way. The ball in the middle of the field. Little confusion for the Trojans. Straight back to pass is the quarterback. He's going to be spun down. No, he got away. Missed another man, but nowhere near the first down, I don't think. Pushing and pushing. If they'll blow the whistle, they'll stop it at the 27-yard line, and ought to be 3 and out for the Trojan defense. If you're with us on Facebook, you get to see a replay.
Yeah, the quarterback, there was a big scrum out in the middle of the field, and I was afraid they were going to have the chance to push him forward, and he only ended up about 3 yards short, but the whistle finally blew, and it's a 3 and out, just like we asked for.
All right, the ball in the middle of the field. Benton Alford will stand at the Trojan 43 here, barring some kind of crazy fake or something. St. James ought to get good field position. They come after it, but don't quite get there, and this one's going to bounce at the 45 and go out of bounds, and the Trojans ought to be in good shape here. Football's going to be marked at the Trojan 43. Of course, the quarterback for the Trojans, Mason Craig. We expect to see Grant Phillips and Miles Zakowski back there running the football. Looking for perhaps some adjustments in the St. James offensive line. A couple of guys nursing some injuries. But looking out there, I think it's the guys who've been here most of the season. Jack Caradori. Help me.
Caradori.
There we go. At the
right.
center for Trojans. We'll get the rest of the line in a second. I apologize for that. Straight under Hands under center is Mason. He'll hand it off to Zakowski, and he'll get half a yard or so, maybe to the 45. They'll give him to Steenwinder at one guard with Max Ward at a tackle, and on the other side, Landon Wiggum and Jake Green. That's the offensive line. The tight end is the kicker, Dylan Hines. Wide receiver this way is Michael Hassel. And the slot back for the Trojans is Dawson Knowles. St. James in that wing tee now. It's 2nd down and 8 right here in front of us on the 45 with running room. Grant Phillips to the 50. It's going to be 3rd and about 3. A little better blocking on the right side there. They'll mark it at the 48. So it's going to be 3rd and almost 5 to go for St. James. We're early, just joining us, 9:22 to go in the first quarter. On a beautiful night for football here in Cleveland County. A little cool. Actually feels like football weather for the first time all season. Caradori over the football. I got it right that time,
That's
JR.
right. Very well. First
near
drive.
the 50-yard line. Hands under center is the quarterback. Mason straight ahead near the first down. In fact, he got it. Zakowski and the Trojans convert on a 3rd and 4. First down, Trojans inside the 45, actually right on the 45 of Cleveland County.
And that's what you want to see, them running the ball, they only got 2 yards on first down this time, but if they can get 4 or 5 yards on first down, they can look like they'll be able to pick up 4 or 5 yards every play, and that would suit Coach Ware just divinely.
All right, the ball in the middle of the field. The wingback and the tight end here to the left. Running backs are Zakowski and Phillips. Phillips with it. Stretching it outside. Nice little cut move, and he's going to pick up about 3.
Great block there by Landon Wiggum, who did a good job pulling there, too.
You know, in this offense, you must stay on schedule. You look at it and say you need to throw some on first down. The truth is, St. James can't afford to have 2nd and 10 with this offense. It's 2nd and 7, we're going to call it. The ball at the 42 here on the near hash mark. Phillips has been under center. We expect to see him in the gun some tonight. We'll keep an eye on that. Zakowski straight ahead, dragging a tackler inside the 40 to the 38. That's 5 straight runs for the Trojans.
Yeah,
and
there's a flag on the far sideline.
I think St. James may have jumped. Yeah, illegal procedure, and that's going to be exactly what this Trojan running attack cannot afford. It's going to make it 2nd and 11. Trojans probably have to put the football in the air, and that's not the strength of this offensive football team.
But I tell you what, one thing that is in their advantage, when Craig has the ball up under center, he seems to do better throwing to the right side. So he's on the near side, so he'll have more room on the right side of the field.
Craig rolling here to the near side now. It's completed to Zakowski down to about the 40, and that's going to get a good bit of the penalty yardage back, and it's going to be 3rd and about 5, so they cut it in half.
Right, and of course he threw to the weak side of the field where there was a little room. The ball was slightly underthrown, but Zakowski stretched out those fingers and made the catch and made a good play.
All right, the ball at the 39. The line to make the 35. So it's 3rd and 4 for the Trojans. 7:11 to go. St. James nothing. Cleveland County nothing. Across in motion is Dawson Knowles. He resets to the wide side of the field. Phillips sprinting outside. Drug a tackler near the 35. Let's see where they mark it. Maybe half a yard short. They're going to mark it at the 34, and I think St. James will go here. I don't think there's any reason to punt the football. It's funny, JR. St. James this football team starts practice every day running their short yardage formation, and they haven't run it in a game all season, and they're not in the short yardage formation now either.
Right, just saving it for
a rainy day.
Moment.
Quarterback sneak, and he's got it and more. Inside the 30 goes Mason Craig. First down, Trojans.
And that wasn't even a tush push. It was all by himself.
He took it, instead of going straight behind the center Caradori, he went between the center and the guard and picked up great yardage inside the 30 to the 29.
If you can pick up 7 yards on a quarterback keeper, that line must be doing something right.
6:09 to go. St. James 2 first downs. This is play 8 of the drive. Straight ahead. I think that might be the first carry of the year for Andrew Yancey.
Oh, he's had a few, but I'd say no more than 3. Of course, he's the one that did the backflip after recovering the blocked punt in the end zone for the touchdown.
Against Montgomery Catholic.
That is correct.
All right, the ball at the 20. Man, that seems like a year ago.
It does, doesn't it?
All right, the ball at the 25. It's going to be 2nd down and 6 for St. James. Again, Knowles shifts from the right to the left in that wing back slot, and St. James jumps off sides. It's going to be 2nd and about 11. See if the Trojans can convert again.
I was about to say on the first drive, first down, they picked up 2 yards. The second drive, they picked 3 yards, but overcame a penalty, and they had 4 yards, doing a little bit better each time. But once again, are going to have 2nd and more than 10.
The second penalty on this drive. See if the Trojans can overcome it. It's just play 9. St. James a little longer in the huddle, but plenty of time on the play clock. It's at about 10, 5:07 to play. Trojans milking the clock for sure. Hope Mason Craig sees the time. He does. Yancey keeps it. Nice little run inside the 25 to the 24. It's going to be 3rd and about 6, I think. I think this is 2 down territory.
Oh, no doubt.
You're 1 and 6 on the year. You're not going, you're not punting this baby away, and I'm not so sure you're going to try a field goal either. You need 5, so let's get 3 here and get 3 more on 4th down. Yancey and Grant Phillips, a little confusion in the backfield. Hands under center, rolling to his right. And completing a pass, wide open out there. A nice catch by Dylan Hines. That's the first down for the Trojans. Then he had time to throw.
Right.
JR watching last Friday night on Facebook, which is not my favorite thing. Man, there was no time to throw.
There really wasn't. The few passes he did complete were those little short passes to Zukowski. That was in the same mode, but he could have stayed in the pocket another 2 to 3 seconds. But, Hines wide open and picked up 12 quick yards.
The ball's at the Cleveland County 12. 3 first downs on this drive, overcome 2 penalties. Running inside the 10 is Zukowski, dragging people near the 5. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
And that's what you want to see. 5, 6, 7, 8 yards on first down, and the playbook is open.
Man, it'd be great to see Miles if he was 6'1", about 215.
Oh, tell me about it.
I don't know that St. James has ever had a player, at least in the time I've been associated with the program, who's played any harder than him. I tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. Cleveland County calls timeout. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is St. James football on RBZ.
When most people think of landscaping, they picture a few shrubs and a patch of grass. But at Tanner Landscaping, we transform spaces into lush, vibrant paradises.
11.
Based in Pikeville, our family-owned business specializes in both residential and commercial landscaping and irrigation. Our talented team is dedicated to making your landscape dreams come true. Find us on Facebook at Tanner Landscaping, LLC. We are proud supporters of St. James football. Go Trojans.
When a sports injury has you sidelined, Baptist Ortho Now offers comprehensive orthopedic care with no appointment from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with board-certified specialists treating injuries and expert physical therapists administering everything from sports medicine to everyday recovery treatment. Baptist Ortho Now, getting you off the bench and back in the action. East Chase at Rossland Target.
All right, Cleveland County called a timeout. Try to get a little better organized on defense. St. James is driven from their own 43 in a time-consuming drive. has the ball, 2nd and 3 from the 5. Hands under center for Mason Craig, rolling to his left, wide open in the end zone. He'll throw it into traffic, and it's intercepted in the end zone.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, literally, he had a receiver wide open, and then by the time he decided to throw it, there was no one there but Cleveland County players.
Right. Could he have possibly had enough to get into the end zone by himself? Maybe. Would have been able to make the first down at the 2-yard line, but yeah, that was just about a 2-second too late, and St. James wasted a very golden opportunity.
You do, and I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. Yeah, I am going to say what I'm thinking. A football team that's as mentally, challenged as this one is in terms of their attitude. The game was close to starting as well as it could have started. 3:35 to go. Turnover by the Trojans. Cleveland County with it, running the little stretch play. Only a pickup of a couple. They start here on their 20-yard line after intercepting the pass in the end zone. Looking at my notes, that's the 12th turnover for the Trojans. St. James -7 turnovers on the season.
That's not going to win you too many games with that kind of a net.
No, and I'll tell you that's just an inexperienced quarterback trying to do too much. Right. I mean, that's really all it is. 2nd down and 7. The ball snapped over the quarterback's head. Trojans sprint for it. St. James may have it.
They have it.
St. James may have it inside the 5. The Trojans get it. The ball was snapped over the quarterback's head, and Zakowski comes up with it. And the Trojans have 1st and goal.
Yeah, that snap was at least 2 feet over his head, and it was fantastic coordination back there. One of the players flattened the quarterback so he couldn't re-grab it, and that allowed Zakowski to get in and make the snag.
All right, 1st and goal from the 6. Let's protect the football, gentlemen. Straight ahead is Zakowski. Pushing. Not going to get there. Down to about the 2, however. Cleveland County says they got the football, but I think Zakowski was down. I'm watching for the officials. They talk it over. And I think they may be about to give Cleveland County the football. They did.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. That's 3 turnovers in 4 plays.
Right. Like I said, it was pretty far away from us on the opposite side of the field and way down to the end zone.
And we don't have replay. We have replay, but we don't have official review. St. James folks not very happy over here on the visitor side. Just got to dig in and play defense. Got to keep playing, even when things go against you. We talked about that in the pregame. JR, I used Kipling's poem, If. You got to keep your head about you.
Right.
And this is, again, another challenge for this St. James defense. They haven't started the play clock yet.
No, the official sent somebody on the Cleveland County side over to the field because they were violating the kneecap rule. Didn't have his jersey over his kneecap. So
the ball on the 2. The Trojans can dig in here and get a turnover. Running the stretch, tackles miss, gets out to about the 6. That's about all, though. Elijah Ware carrying the football. He's got 230 yards rushing on the season and 4 touchdowns for Cleveland County. Wow, JR, I just don't, I shake my head. It's just one of those seasons when,
Right. For both teams.
Yeah, you're Linus with the cloud over your head or something. It's 2nd down and 6.
Definitely need to stop here.
Again, running wide outside, not much, I don't think. 3 or 4 guys hit him out there for the Trojans, not much. And here's another big 3rd down conversion. See if St. James can get the ball back for a 3rd time. We'll keep our eye on Max Ward. He's playing on a real gimpy knee out there and limping off. All right, it's 3rd down and 3rd, and we'll call it 6. Rolling left is the quarterback. I think St. James is going to get called for defensive holding, but they're going to convert the first down anyway. The quarterback, Baker, he hit Cade Schubert for the first down. Schubert was the quarterback for the first 4 games. Oh, sideline
warning. Okay.
It's a first down for Cleveland County out to the 13. 1:25 to go in the quarter. St. James got to dig in here. Very, very frustrating. 2 turnovers inside the 5-yard line for St. James.
Right.
All right, the football on the near hash. Cleveland County with a tight end. Run the stretch play. Trojans overrun it a little, but not a big gainer, maybe 3 or so. Again, that's Ware with the football. Now, Carter Hughes, the running back there. Right. Yep, he carried that one, and he hurt St. James last year. He had two touchdowns rushing, one of 54 yards and one of 50. He is their leading rusher, almost 504 yards coming in tonight on the season. Rolling to his right is the quarterback. He throws this one sidearm and completed outside the 30. Now, that's a nice throw out there by Baker, and Schubert caught that pass as well. Again, he's found his position.
Right.
All right, the ball at the 31. Baker just rolling to his left under pressure. He really threw it sidearm
and across the field
to elude the St. James rusher. Trojans miss a tackle in the backfield, and somebody grabs him right on the ankles. That's for the Trojans. Grant Phillips that made that stop. I kind of held my breath a second. St. James ran a little stunt play or something and overran the ball. Thought for a second he was
out the backside. That tackle, he'd have been at least to midfield, possibly more.
All right, that's the end of the first quarter. St. James and Cleveland County, 0-0. We'll take a 60-second break, and we'll be right back. St. James football on RBZ.
In challenging times, trust is everything. At the Bush Law Firm, they specialize in debtors' and creditors' rights, offering expert legal restructuring for businesses facing bankruptcy. As one of only 2 firms in Montgomery County equipped to handle such cases, the focus is on guiding you through insolvency with precision and care. Restructuring for a brighter future starts here. The Bush Law Firm. Navigate your path to stability. Visit us online at bushlegalfirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you want to see your money grow without a whole lot of fuss, well, you're sure to find some peace of mind at Riverbank and Trust.
Hi, this is Billy Wiggum with Riverbank and Trust. When you need a winning game plan for your finances, trust our home team of community bankers. From local banking expertise to newest innovations and technology, we have all the right strategies for your financial success. Experience the home team advantage for yourself at Riverbank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, at the end of 1, St. James and Cleveland County tied 0-0. The Trojans turned the ball over twice inside the 5. Had one long sustained drive of 12 plays. The 12th play, that interception by Craig, thrown into a crowd in the end zone. St. James got the ball back and had first and goal from the 6 and fumbled it away. Cleveland County now is driven from their own 2. It'll be 2nd down and 5 from the Cleveland County 36. We get ready to go here in the second quarter. Again, 2 football teams, both desperate for a win, no question about that. And both teams already making mistakes. St. James did overcome 2 5-yard penalties in that first drive that took them inside the 5-yard line before the first turnover of the night. Cleveland County, their freshman quarterback, Jalen Baker, has thrown the football very well. In fact, coming into tonight's game, in 2 games, he's thrown 39 passes, 27 of 39 for 415 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he's played very well since they made the change. And one of the reasons is Cade Schubert, the quarterback, has played extremely well at wide receiver, and he has both catches tonight for the Tigers. They're right here in front of us, the ball in the middle of the field. 4 wide receivers in the game for the Tigers. A man in motion now, back across the middle of the field. Back to pass is the quarterback, Baker. Over the middle, incomplete. A little high, nice coverage by Grant Phillips. So it's going to be 3rd down.
Right in the middle, right on top of the Tiger paw, but a little off it. And he said Phillips would have gotten him down immediately, probably would have helped knock the ball away anyway. Incomplete pass. 3rd down, need a stop.
Yep, 3rd down and 5. The football at the 36 of the line to make the 41. Once again, spreading the St. James defense out. Rolling to his left is Ware, chased out of the pocket. This one is out of bounds, I believe. The officials run and look at each other and say no. Incomplete and out of bounds, and it'll be 4th down. St. James forced another punt, although there's a flag on the play across the way. I don't see it. Okay, holding on Cleveland County. St. James will decline that. Tigers did successfully get the ball off the goal line, driven it out here to the 35, and they'll punt it away. Benton Alford back there deep again for St. James. We'll see if the Trojans can sustain this second drive. Well, the 3rd drive now this will be. Keep your eye on Cade Schubert. The quarterback turned receiver is also the punter for Cleveland County. He boots this one away, and Alford gets away from it. It'll take a Tiger bounce, and they'll catch it at about the 20-yard line. I have no idea why he caught the football after one bounce.
Right. It would have gone at least another 5, possibly 10 yards.
Trojans will start on their own 20. St. James field position flipped on the Trojans, no doubt about that. Spence McCracken used to say 80% of the time a high school team cannot drive 80 yards, which means 20% of the time you can.
Right.
Actually, the ball's on the 21, not the 20. So I guess I'll say 79% of the time you can't drive 79 yards.
Very good.
All right, Mason Craig, hand under center. St. James in the wing tee. Motion across the formation is Grant Phillips. He resets in the backfield, and Phillips has it on the buck sweep and not anything there. Back to the line of scrimmage, maybe. It'll be 2nd down and 10. St. James pullers got there late. See if they even give him. They did give him 1 yard.
Bit of a slow developing play, which many are, but it looked like somebody on the left side of the line didn't do the correct block, and it messed up the timing.
Right in the middle of the field now for the Trojans. Again, still in that wing tee. 1 wide receiver. And that's Michael Hassel for the Trojans. Sprinting to the outside for Bass. He'll drag tacklers with him near the 30. See where they mark it, maybe on the 29, and that'll make it 3rd and 2. Big play here for the Trojans. 10:40 to go before halftime. St. James nothing, Cleveland County nothing. We'll check some scores during halftime. And Alyssa Cantrell will have the Trojan spotlight. You stay with us, but between now and then, let's get the football in the end zone. 3rd down and 2. Running straight ahead, 1st down. Both hands on the football that time out to the 35. St. James blocking them a little better, running in, what they call the A gap between the center and the guard right there, much better. And Zakowski, who fumbled the ball in the first quarter, had both hands on it there. We watch a replay. If you're with us on Facebook, we're glad you joined us.
No, it was a very untimely music blast there, which, is a no-no, but it didn't affect the play.
All right, Trojans are going to shift now. The tight end and the wing back move from left to right to the short side of the field. Craig hands it off to Bass, driving a little bit, maybe a couple. Not a lot of running room there, running off right guard. Trojans converted on a 3rd and 2, and they pick up 2 solid yards there on 1st down. Again, if you're not familiar with this offense, it's Not the offense they ran the first day they ever played football, but pretty close to that. St. James with a tight end and a wing back, 2 running backs most of the time, and it's predicated on getting the line unbalanced. St. James over to the near side of the field now. 4 blockers this way. They run this way. Hey, near the first down. Going to be maybe a half a yard short, and that's Zakowski carrying it. Going to be marked at the 44. The line that makes the 45, so it's going to be 3rd and a yard. St. James had 4 linemen, a tight end, and 3 linemen on the left side of the line of scrimmage. So the line's really unbalanced. Cleveland County didn't adjust enough, JR, and the Trojans have 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1, and instead of getting the big yardage on first down, they seem to be getting it on second down and leaving themselves with 3rd down very manageable.
A sneak, and the Trojans are going to get it, I believe. See where they mark it. They do. First down, St. James. That's 6 running plays. This makes for a short quarter, 8:23 to go. Trojans get the ball to start the second half.
It'd be
One of those that built.
He could run off about another 6 minutes on this clock and get some points on the board.
Coach Belichick used to call that a 2-for-1. Try to score right at the end of the half, get the ball back to start the second half.
Absolutely.
Trojans in no hurry coming out of the huddle, just taking their time. Play clock down to 10. Ball on the hash mark here on the short side. 1 wide receiver all the way across the field. Straight ahead, Zakowski. Broke a tackle, broke another across the 50 to the 49.
There's a good gain on first down, a 5-yard pickup. So, once again, and the play before, Michael Hassel got by his single coverage over there on the far sideline, and he went over and told the coaches they may be setting it up, so don't be surprised the next 3 or 4 plays. He may get a look.
Zakowski gets a little break, and Andrew Yancey in there for him. Zakowski nursing a bit of a sore shoulder, and a bit of a sore shoulder is not enough to keep him out of the game.
No, not at all.
Hands under center, the buck sweep across the way. First down, Grant Phillips needed to make one man miss.
Yeah.
Did I see a flag?
You did. I believe Ford Bass may have tackled somebody in the middle of the field, unfortunately, to allow the acceleration past the hole.
I think so. They talk it over. Would be enough for a first down if the play stands, but it's not. They'll mark it off from the Cleveland County 47, and that'll be a 10-yard mark off, and that's going to put the Trojans behind the sticks, and it'll be 2nd down and 11.
All right.
The 3rd penalty of the night against the Trojans. 7:15 to go before halftime. Yeah, the ball's all the way back to the Trojan 47. The line to make the Cleveland County 44. Little counterplay, running room. Stay outside. Stay outside. Grant Phillips to the 40. Grant Phillips stiff arms a man to the 30. Phillips to the 20. Inside the 15, down to the 12. First down, Trojans.
Oh, and it's a shame he turned around to look back. If he wouldn't have, I mean, he may have had to go the distance, but great setup on that play with 2 blockers ahead of him. And they blocked well, held their hands in, and just Grant got loose.
The buck sweep again. St. James with the football now officially at the 13. 1st and 10. Hold on to the football down here, gentlemen. Grant Phillips, hands under center. Now our wing back, Knowles, is going to shift from the left to the right and reset. Trojans will run to the wide side of the field and didn't block anybody there. It's a loss of 2 or 3 back to the 15, maybe even the 16.
Right.
Got a 2nd and long again. Mason Craig talking to the official, not happy about something out there. Linebacker just ran in the A gap between the guard and the center. St. James needed to block down. It's what they call pin and pull. You got to pin the guy down to allow the guard to get outside and pull. We pulled and didn't reach block, and that linebacker dropped Phillips for a loss. Zakowski back in there at running back. He's got it. Zakowski near the 10, fighting for yardage, both hands on the ball, down to the 9, and it'll be 3rd down. See where they mark it officially. Mark it at the 8-yard line. Nope, at the 9. It's going to be 3rd and about 6. The Trojans need to get it to the 3. The ball's at the 9. 5:13 to go before halftime. Again, Knowles shifts from the left to the right, resets. Trojans will run it this way. They do, sprinting toward the 1st down, sprinting to the goal line. Zakowski's in, and the Trojans take the lead on a 9-yard TD run with 4:55 to go in the second quarter. I've got a 12-play drive there, JR.
That looks
a
about
13-play drive that
was
didn't produce points.
Almost a duplicate of the long Phillips run. Double blocks out on the right side. It seems like they seem to be running better up the middle or on the right side than on the left, but Zakowski is running with power, and as long as he holds onto that ball, he's going to get positive yardage every time.
For the Trojans, Dylan Hines will attempt the extra point. Andrew Salado will hold it. Snap's good. The hold's good. And the kick is good. 4:55 to go before halftime. Trojans lead 7-0. You stay with us. St. James football on WRBZ.
Has an accident cramped your style? At Montgomery Paint and Body, we turn uh-oh into wow. Whether it's a tiny fender bender or total body repair, we'll have your ride looking stunning, maybe even better than before. When life throws a collision your way, count on us to smooth out the stress. We don't just fix cars. We treat every customer like family, because that's what the Turners are all about. From little fender benders to total body repair, visit Montgomery Paint and Body, East Shirley Lane on the East Boulevard, or call 27-REC. At Montgomery Paint and Body, your vehicle will be as good as new, maybe better.
Zaxby's is more than just a humble chicken joint. It's a humble chicken joint with the best sauces in the world. See, at Zaxby's, you don't just get their famous hand-breaded chicken fingers, fried to golden perfection with that flavor you know and love. At Zaxby's, you get the sauce. Dip, dunk, and drizzle with your choice of 12 different sauces like Zax sauce, tongue torch, and hot honey mustard. So if you want a whole lot of sauce, you need to find yourself a Zaxby's. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
All right, we're back, and St. James ready to boot it away. But, JR, you said something unusual about these two drives.
Very unusual. That first drive that went all the way down the field, it unfortunately ended in the interception. Time of possession, 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Last scoring drive, which went 80 yards, and there's your, or 79 yards. That's your 21%, you ask.
Yep.
6 minutes, 40 seconds, time of possession.
Both drives the exact same time of possession. All right. Dylan Hines will boot it away for the Trojans. His first kickoff went in the end zone. Return man for Cleveland County stands on the goal line, and this one's going to be into the end zone. He can't come out. And what a weapon that is for St. James.
Well, and remember the last 3 plays of the first half, he kicked a field goal with 10 seconds to go, and St. James decided to try the deep onside kick, which they executed perfectly. A silly penalty moved the ball down to the 15-yard line, and Hines, after missing a field goal earlier in the second quarter, made 2 field goals within 4 seconds of clock time with a fantastic onside kick sandwiched in between that. Definitely a weapon, and, you can't have a much better 10 seconds of play than that.
Running outside is Hughes. He made a man miss, got leverage out there, and the Trojans will get him down, but not before he gets first down or very, very close to it. In fact, it is a first down. So running back for Cleveland County, Carter Hughes across the 30 to the 32. Now that's drive started on the 20. That if you watch the Alabama-Missouri game, you'll see that next on tomorrow over and over. It's called the outside zone. Everybody blocks to the right. The runner carries the ball to the right and just looks for a little hole. That's a counter, and the Trojans smell that one pretty well out there. Carrying the football for Cleveland County is Ware, and the first guy to hit him up front for St. James, I think that's Max Ward. No, it's not.
That's Landon Wiggum.
Landon Wiggum. That's right. Wiggum on the stop. Picked up about a yard. We'll keep an eye on the clock. 4:20 to go.
And Claiborne County did burn a timeout earlier.
Back to pass is Baker, throwing this one long and overthrown. Had a step on the defender, Darion Williams, but the pass was long and over his head, and it's third and 9. Maybe the Trojans make a stop here, JR, and get the football back
Absolutely.
again.
You talk about scoring 2 for 1. A 3 for 1 would, just be a big bonus. And
Max Ward coming off, just not able to get any weight on that left knee, and not able to practice much this week. And it's interesting. The Trojans are playing Andrew Yancey out there at nose tackle. Watch him go in the gap, JR. He's quick as a cat. And there he goes toward the quarterback, and he's going to sack him. How about that for
What
a
a
call?
great call. What a great call. Nobody
A sack by
expected that.
Yancey, playing nose guard out there and running back.
Well, that's a way to fire a team up. Look at him out there.
All the way back to the 25. And barring something crazy, the Trojans ought to get good field position right here. 3:40 to play before halftime. St. James has all 3 timeouts.
About another high snap.
All right, this one's end over end. It'll take a St. James bounce, and the Trojans will take over at the 47. Trojans in good shape here. They'll mark it at the 48. All right, Trojans with the football and a chance to extend the lead. You hadn't heard us say that very often this season, JR.
Absolutely. I know I haven't said it.
St. James with the football here, and Trojans are going to make a couple of changes. Going to change wing backs, and also in there, Yancey's in to run the football. Look to see if Zakowski maybe's getting a little break, and I see him down here. He is. It looks like they're working on his helmet.
It does. Yeah, looking maybe for an earpiece.
I can tell him the answer to that. You find one of the guys who isn't playing much, and you snag his helmet.
Exactly.
Looks like the Trojans have taken a timeout, and we'll take a quick 60-second break. St. James leads 7-0. We'll be right back.
Yeah, almost.
Need a little good news in your life? Well, here's the deal. State Farm has new, lower car insurance rates in Alabama. So now you can get the great service and convenience of State Farm agent Breck Honey at an even better price. That's right. State Farm can help you save more cash and get the good neighbor service you deserve. It's the real deal for car insurance. State Farm agent Breck Honey is ready to help you save, Montgomery. Call my office today at 334-272-8423. That's 272-8423. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you or your family is a landowner, here is an important thing to know from On Point Habitat Management. The best way to improve the aesthetics and wildlife habitat quality of your property is with a prescribed fire burn. On Point's goal is to never send the landowner a bill, but to use funding available from the Department of Agriculture to accomplish the goals for your property. Consultations are free. Applications for the funding is free. Reach out to them at onpointhabitat@gmail.com.
Mason Craig, hands under center. The Trojan 48, he'll roll to the right here. Look. He can run all day, and now he's going to be dropped and sacked. Had room to sprint to the corner and just took an extra second and got sacked, and now the Trojans way behind the sticks. The ball all the way back to the Trojan 41. It's second down and 16 or so.
Yep, that was a play. They were looking deep left, and I believe it was Hassel over there, but he was double covered actually, so no chance to even throw the ball there.
Keep an eye on the game clock. 2:50 to go. Trojans just run a little stretch play, and nice hard running out there.
Look at that.
Across the 50. Wow, what running by Grant Phillips. Gets it down to a third and manageable now. Phillips just carried guys
that
with
should have
him.
been maybe a 3-yard gain and turned out being maybe a 13-yard gain. Fantastic effort.
All right, the ball at the Cleveland County 48. It's 3rd and 6. Game clock will be under 2 minutes when this is snapped. Isaac Caputo here is wide to the short side of the field.
And again,
Trojans, excuse me,
well, I would say
Trojan
running the
unbalanced line to the wide side of the field now. I think they're running the buck sweep that way. No, they'll run to the short side. Not much. Zukowski's going to get to the 45, and maybe St. James has to punt this one away. We'll see what Coach Larry Ware decides to do. It's 4th and 3. St. James gets the football to start the second half. It is the punt team coming in for the Trojans, I think.
Right, and they're letting as much time run off this clock as possible. Changing balls, so that's a pretty good sign.
Yep, Dylan Hines back there for the Trojans. The play clock's at 10 or so. I would think Coach Ware might let it run down and just call timeout.
Especially with only 10 men on the field.
I think they are now with 11. See if they're going to call timeout.
A delay game wouldn't really hurt that much either.
Yeah, but you save your timeout.
Which they did.
For what? All right, Trojans will be punting from midfield now. 1:10 to go.
And some of y'all that have seen Dylan preparing to punt in person, sometimes he will hold the ball and he can hold it still, and he might see something. I would expect just a straight punt here, though.
All right, Hines stands at his own 36. The ball will be snapped from the 50. Ware is deep for snaps low. But Hines went down and got it, and this is a very good kick. Going to go out of bounds just inside the 15. Outside the 15 now at the 17. And Coach Corley not happy down there. St. James defensive coordinator. The ball hit the ground at the 15. They'll mark it at the 18. So Cleveland County will start there. You stay with us at halftime. 1:03 till we get there, and Alyssa Cantrell's interview. The ball at the 18. So I guess I would say 82% of the time you don't drive 82 yards.
Right.
St. James defense now backing out of there a little, and Cleveland County's going to run it. Be hit right in the hole, and St. James going to throw him back. See who the last guy is to get up out there for St. James. That's Andrew Saleda on the stop. I think Cleveland County's going to just let this clock run out, maybe run one more play. They're in no big hurry.
Right. Yeah, probably depending on the result of this play, we'll decide whether they to be aggressive or try to run it out. And
Baker calls for it. He's going to roll to his right, throw this one long, and the receiver drops the football.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That was very catchable.
St. James defender Luke Catchings, instead of turning around, just kind of waved his arms. And the receiver dropped the football. And now it's 3rd and 9 with 27 seconds to go. And the Trojans may be able to force a punt here. St. James has used only one timeout.
That's true. You can pretty much guarantee if there is a run and a stop here, a timeout will be used.
Hit in the backfield is the running back for Cleveland County. That's Hughes, and he's going to be short, and I think St. James is going to call timeout.
Indeed, they did.
He's only a yard or so short, but I don't think the Tigers can afford to go for it. St. James leads 7-0, 19 seconds to go, and St. James could have enough time to throw a couple of balls deep. You might see Andrew Saleda come in at quarterback.
That's true.
Because he spent some time. If you're with us, you know St. James did not have a returning quarterback, and they tried several guys at that position. Saleda has probably the strongest arm.
No doubt. Plus, of course, St. James, one of the things they can do very well and have done all season, block kicks.
Yeah.
You can pretty much guarantee that the all-out punt block will be on here. Because even if you manage to run into the kicker or rough him, what's that going to do? Give him a first down at best and probably run out 8-9 seconds of the clock. So
St. James cheerleaders not here, and the mothers to our left playing cheerleaders, getting everyone here on the St. James sidelines up. And the Trojans are going to play what's called in the business punt safe. They put their defense back out there on the field just to make sure nothing crazy happens. Cleveland County lines up to punt. They're going to now run a fake. They're going to run a fake and throw an incomplete pass. No, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Grant Phillips. Phillips back to the 40. Block one man, guys. Block one man. Phillips out of bounds at the 21. Oh, my goodness. I have no idea what Cleveland County was thinking.
It looked like he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds, and somehow the ball ended up right in Grant Phillips' hands, and he returns the ball 45 yards. And we might have Hines go out on the field on the first play. In fact, he is, and he may get, like last week, a 4-second field goal. Exactly.
All right, STJ, St. James with the football at the 20, at the 21. Dylan Hines will attempt what will be a
looks like a
38-yard
field goal.
Wow, what a turn of events. The former quarterback who was the punter could have run for the first down, I think.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
All right, we'll see here. The ball's on the near hash, and Cleveland County's going to call timeout. Dylan Hines, as you said, kicked 2 field goals last Friday night in the last 10 seconds of the first half.
Right. I mean, even just those 3 plays back to back, I mean, I had trouble describing them. It was fantastic because St. James drove down the field. He missed, like I said, a field goal attempt earlier in the quarter and got a second chance. There was a stiff wind last week blowing across the field. And despite even taking a delay of game penalty to lessen the angle, he still missed the first one from still a regular sharp angle, but the last 2 are right up the middle, and he boomed them both. And this is on the near hash mark, but I think he prefers to kick from the
right side.
Yeah.
Most of the time, a right-footed kicker likes to kick from the right so you can hook it a little bit. Kind of like my golf shots, only it's hook it a lot. Not a little bit. Here we go. Trojans trying to extend the lead to 10-0. Saleda will hold. Hines is ready. Snap's good. It's down, and it's high enough, and it's long enough, and it hit the upright.
Oh, my goodness.
The end of the first half. Half ends on a missed field goal by the Trojans, and St. James leads 7-0. We'll get the ball to start the second half. What a strange first half. Just quickly, St. James won the toss and deferred. Cleveland County 3 and out on their first possession. The Trojans took over at their 43. A 13-play drive ends on 2nd and goal from the 4 when Craig throws the ball into a crowd and it's intercepted. Cleveland County took over on the 20, and on 2nd down, the snap was over the head of the quarterback, recovered by the Trojans at the 6. And on 1st down, St. James fumbled it right back. Cleveland County made a couple of 1st downs, and then St. James took over on their own 21-yard line and went 79 yards in 12 plays, all runs. Miles Zakowski scored a 9-yard touchdown, and the Trojans had 7-0, 4:55 to go before halftime. And St. James got the ball twice in the last 4:55, 3 and out on a possession. And then after a Grant Phillips interception, the Dylan Hines field goal hit the upright, and the Trojans lead 7-0 at halftime.
All right, well, I'm going to try to get us some stats together, and quite frankly, they're all St. James loaded. Cleveland County's only gotten 2 first downs on some short passes. Their rushing attack has been feeble at best, and we'll see what the numbers look like in a few minutes.
We'll take a quick 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have the Trojan Spotlight with Alyssa Cantrell with her visit with a St. James alum. You stay with us. Trojans lead 7-0. This is St. James football on WRBZ.
Great smiles start at Montgomery Dentistry on Woodner Boulevard. Doctors Anderson, Robertson, and Bittner have over 55 years combined dental experience and are proud to be an active part of the St. James community. Montgomery Dentistry accepts most major dental insurance plans, voted best dental practice for 8 years in a row. Ask them about financing options to allow you to get your dental care now and pay later. Located on Woodmer Boulevard. Follow them on Facebook and visit them in montgomerydentistry.com.
A Regions checking account can help you take your next step in life by giving you smarter, more convenient ways to manage your money. Open a Regions checking account today and bank safely and securely in a branch, online, on your phone, or with a phone call. You'll also love conveniences like text alerts, Regions mobile deposit, and our new bill pay system. Ready to move your life forward? To open a Regions checking account today, visit a branch or log on to regions.com/open now. Regions Bank. Message and data fees may apply to mobile services. Mobile deposit subject to fees.
Hi, I'm Shelly Nichols. If you see home ownership in your future, the future is now. Helping people get mortgages is what I do at Cross Country Mortgage. I'll help you find the home financing option that's right for you. Go to my website at ccm.com/Shelly Nichols and follow me on social media. Contact me today at Cross Country Mortgage about a home loan. Equal housing opportunity, subject to credit approval, NMLS 430123, company NMLS 3029, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is Judge J.C. Love in the Montgomery County Probate Court, wishing the St. James Trojans football team a winning and successful football season. Go Trojans. And while we're cheering for victory on the field, we're also protecting victories at home. Don't let property title fraud take away what you've worked so hard to build. Sign up today for the Probate Court's REACT program, the Real Estate Activity Alert and Contact Tool. It's free, it's fast, and it helps safeguard your property. Protect your property, protect your future. Learn more at www.reactnow.com. That's www.reaactnow.com. Go Trojans.
Good evening and welcome to this week's Trojan Spotlight. I am thrilled to have two alum with us this week. Alexandra Wise Smith, who graduated in 2012, and Sarah Arrington Faulkner, who graduated in 2017. Hey, ladies, how are y'all?
Hi. We're excited to be here. Yes.
So let me start with kind of the obvious question. Y'all are business partners, right?
Correct.
Okay. And how did y'all come? I mean, two alum, y'all graduated 5 years apart. How did y'all end up in business together?
So we work at Fairway Home Mortgage. We're loan officers and we're a production team. I have been with Fairway for, I guess, 6, almost 7 years now. And Sarah joined about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, March
Will be 2.
This upcoming March will be 2
Yeah.
years. And I knew who Alexandra was, but she had no idea who I was, just because the younger people always know the older people. So we quickly became best friends and
Yeah. She
decided
started
to-
working at Fairway, and our offices are connected by a little sliding pocket door. And so we quickly became friends and realized just like how much our circles were kind of intertwined and how many of the same people that we knew. And we ended up kind of becoming inseparable. And then we would talk every loan through together anyways. And so one day we were like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like we have so much fun together. We bounce ideas off of each other and work all through the scenarios together. Like, why don't we just make it a team, official team? And so we partnered up and it's been great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, Alexandra, let's talk about what you've been doing. So I know you're in business now, but let's talk about life immediately after St. James up until now.
Yes. So immediately after graduation, I went to Alabama and rushed and everything there and ended up transferring in the middle of my freshman year to Auburn,
Okay.
which my dad was not thrilled about. We're big Alabama fans. And he was like, what? But Auburn was just much more me, lower key, a little chiller. And so I stayed the next 3.5 years at Auburn, graduated from Auburn with a degree in communications and loved it. After graduating, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. It felt like a very big and overwhelming decision. Looking back, it's easy to say now that that's not a forever decision, right? Like you can always change what you want to do, but it felt like a really big decision. And I remember being on the phone with my dad one day at my apartment, and we were talking through it, and he said, well, look, like think of your hobbies and what you love doing, what you spend your free time doing. Let's start there. And So this was pre-kids, of course, and I had all the time in the world, and I spent majority of my time at our farm, hunting and helping my grandfather with our cows and stuff like that. And I said, it would be fun to do something in the outdoor realm hunting industry. And so he had a couple of connections, made a few calls, and I did kind of like an internship with a really well-known local business in Birmingham called Mark's Outdoors, and got to know the industry really well and loved it. And so I worked at Mark's for a little while doing sales and getting to know just the gun world, the shooting sports industry, and stuff like that. And then took a job with Buckmasters doing media sales here in Montgomery. And so that's what brought me back. And I was with Buckmasters for a couple years and loved the industry, but and this was back several years ago, so it's changed now, but a lot of the opportunities for women in that world or realm at that time were mainly like social media personalities or TV personalities. I had no interest in being either. So I was kind of coming to the realization of like, maybe it's time to make a change. And I was talking to my parents about it again, and an opportunity came up somehow in the mortgage world. I was like, I think that would be fun. My parents developed neighborhoods and built houses all growing up, and I always loved getting to follow along in that and kind of be in that world. I always thought it was fun and interesting. And people always need a place to live. And so I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. And so I started off as a loan officer assistant with two women at Fairway, both smart as can be, and learned just an immense amount of knowledge from them, and stayed with them for several years and had Ann Pelham, our first child, while I was with them. And then Charlie came along 14 months later. And when I was on maternity leave with Charlie is when I actually got licensed to originate on my own. And so after coming back from maternity leave, it was just a really good time to kind of start going out on my own and building my book of business. So neither of the things that I've done as an adult are related at all, but they really have shaped who I am. And of course, St. James was a huge part of that, and being able to make connections. And even to this day, the connections that Sarah and I are making now, we still have such a huge influence from St. James.
Yeah. Well, and I think the path that you have taken is not abnormal. It's not, I think my path has been relatively straight. I was a communications PR major, and I'm still doing that in a lot of ways. But like my husband's path has been not straight at all. It's been some circles and some, but he's right where he needs to be. So, good for you following that path. Sarah, tell me a little bit about after school for you, after St. James for you.
Yes, so after I graduated in 2017, I went straight to the University of Alabama and stayed there all 4 years, rushed to sorority. And when I graduated, it was 2021, so right in the midst of COVID. I graduated with a hospitality management degree, and I really wanted to go into the corporate events world, but clearly that
there were a lot of events happening then.
No, so that was not reasonable at the time. So spent that summer, was a camp counselor, had done that all throughout high school, and decided let's just keep doing it. So went there, decided to take a job. It was, your typical right out of college, first job, trying to figure out what I'm doing. And a sorority sister of mine in Birmingham was in the mortgage world, and they were looking for somebody to come onto their team. And I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. So did that in Birmingham for a little while. Ended up meeting my now husband. He was best friends with my brother-in-law, so those paths just crossed really easily. He grew up in Montgomery, as well. So it was perfect. And I decided, all right, let's move home. My whole family is here still. He's here. And that's kind of how Fairway just honestly like fell into my lap. I was out at a networking event and they were there, and talked to them, and it was kind of like an immediate perfect opportunity. So we did that. And then Jacob and I got married this past March 1st. So I guess we're going on 7-8 months of marriage now.
Or
With
6, 7.
yeah, 6, 7. Time is flying, but yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
And then come to find out, our husbands knew each other in high school and went to the same school.
Yeah, that's funny.
Both went to high school in Montgomery together. So.
That's funny. Y'all can tell
Yeah.
I have teenagers with the 6, 7 crack.
Oh my gosh.
That's their big thing these days. Well, it's not real
Yes.
anymore because we've basically annoyed them to the point where they've stopped using it. But
My cousin is a senior in high school right now, and she was telling me all about it. So
it means nothing.
She says it means absolutely nothing. It's
Yeah.
just something they say now. So
It is. Okay. Alexandra, you now are in a fun role as a St. James parent. So tell me a little bit about how that's been. I know it's your first year, but tell me how that's been and kind of the difference you see as having been a student and now as a parent.
Yep. So, we first are just so, I tell this to Sarah and my mom and my husband all the time, like how incredibly lucky we are to be at St. James. And my kids don't know it now. They don't have, the capacity to understand that. But looking back at my time there and now seeing them there, it just hits me all the time. It's like a huge wave of gratitude. And, my brother and I used to talk about it all the time shortly after we graduated and had moved into college, how lucky we were to be at St. James. It was just the sweetest school. And we still keep up with so many of our friends from school, even the ones who have moved away across the country and are doing different things. And so we knew what a great spot it was just from me going there. But now being on the other side of that as a parent, gosh, what is it, 13 years later, it blows me away. There have been so many changes just in the last couple of years, that just stun us all the time. From the, cafeteria where they have hot, delicious lunches cooked every single day. And
Versus fast food.
Yes. Like
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, I remember getting the menu for the months at home and you had to check, the days that you wanted to order. But it has been the most beautiful thing seeing them and just thrive and grow. And when I tell my husband, I'm like, you're in the right spot when they cry leaving school, not wanting to leave their friends. And they talk about their teachers on the weekends, and we're getting updates from their teachers, and just feeling the sense of love that their teachers have for them. It's what every parent wants, to know how loved their kids are at school and just what all St. James pours into them, like above and beyond academics. I love that, on the light poles, when you pull into the campus, it says, we are Trojans 24/7. And I remember that being just really nailed into us, especially in high school sports. Like you represent the school, of course, from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday, but like when you're out on the weekends and when you're at your job, like this is a small town. If they don't know you, they know your parents, they know your grandparents, like your character matters. And St. James does a phenomenal job of building smart, brilliant kids and young adults, but also the character side of things that St. James focuses on and wants to grow and make sure that these kids really are like the best people that they can be with the best hearts. It has been the best experience.
Oh, that's awesome. My kids have been there since K3, and I have a freshman and an 8th grader, and boy, has time flown. But and I'm from Texas originally, and so when we moved here, our goal was we were going to move home after 5 years. Like 5 years was our max, and we're still here because we're like they're going to graduate from St. James. That is our goal. So
yes, that's what I've gotten. So Charlie's in K3 and Aunt Pelham is in K5, and we have a couple of friends who have kids that are Charlie's age. But they either kept them in like a church program, a Mother's Day Out program. And so this upcoming year, they're going to be in, we call it Big Kids School for the first time. And so we are like steadily recruiting all of our friends as many as we can. We're like, okay, you got to look at K3 or K4.
Yeah.
But we tell everybody, we're like, you might want to make sure that you are done touring everywhere else when you tour St. James, because after you tour St. James, it's done.
Yeah.
Like your decision is made for you. You will not even want to look at anything else. It is the sweetest, most special place. Yeah.
That was us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We walked out. We're like, that's it. We know where they're going.
That's it. No questions after that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Laura and Elizabeth, they do the best job with the tours and the Welcome Wednesdays and just, really making it feel like it truly is a family.
Mm-hmm. And it is a family. And that's you really do sense it just just step on campus and you sense it, you feel it.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we're out of time, but y'all are amazing. I'm so glad I got to connect with y'all. And
yes, thank you.
I got to have a double alumni interview this week. I think that's awesome. So I look forward to seeing y'all both soon, and go Trojans.
Go Trojans. Thank you, Alyssa.
Discover your stunning new look at Doug's 2 Salon. Find your breathtaking new hairstyle or color with our expert stylists and salon artists, and look absolutely radiant with our extensions, balayage, and keratin treatments. You'll find products from Aveda and Bumble & Bumble. So even when you leave the salon, you keep looking sensational. Call to make your appointment and look and feel amazing today.
I'm Cliff Meidel, two-time Olympic athlete in the sport of sprint kayaking. In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811.
Accidents can happen to anyone. Know what's below. Always call 811 before digging. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Derek Cunningham of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. We're a proud supporter of St. James football. Being a member of this community and knowing that these students are part of our community, we at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office would like to let you know that we support you this football season and we're here for you this football season.
If joint pain or athletic injury has you out of a game, call the Houston Clinic team at 334-245-6605. Doctors Lee Murphy and Derek Wessner are seasoned healthcare providers working to provide high-quality sports medicine care to the athletes of the River region. Dr. Murphy is an orthopedic surgeon. His clinical focus is on shoulder, elbow, and knee disorders. Dr. Wessner is a veteran and primary care sports medicine physician specializing in the primary care treatment of all musculoskeletal conditions. Visit Doctors Murphy and Wessner at Houston Clinic on Taylor Road in Montgomery.
We're back at Cleveland County. It's halftime. Trojans lead 7-0, and it's one of those games in baseball like you leave the bases loaded 3 times, and it's the top of the 6th, and you're up 1-0, and you're thinking, we ought to be relaxed. And the Trojans turned the ball over not once but twice inside the Cleveland County 5, and on the last play of the first half, miss a field goal. So easily could be 17, easily should be 17-0. But the Trojans lead here 7-0 and get the football to start the second half. JR, let's take a quick look at the statistics.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with the defense. You got to give our defense credit. Cleveland County was just shut out. They never had the ball across the 50-yard line. They had 8 carries for a total of 8 yards. That's a 1.0 average is going to do you good. They attempted 8 passes, completed 2 of them, completed 1 to St. James, and that was only for 28 yards. So they have a total of 36 yards in the first half, 3 first downs. They committed several penalties, but none of them were accepted. And the lack of time of possession, I'll give that in just a moment. That was pretty impressive also. St. James carried the ball 23 times, 112 yards, and it was very evenly split. Phillips had 10 carries, 49 yards. Zukowski had 8 carries for 48 yards. And, of course, Ford Bass had a few good carries. Mason Craig had a good carry. He completed all 3 of the passes he threw, 2 of them to St. James, and unfortunately 1 in the end zone to Claiborne County for one of those wasted opportunities. But St. James had almost 140 yards on offense. They committed 3 penalties, total of 20 yards. They had 7 first downs, so only 3 for Claiborne County, and had nearly double the time of possession, 15:04 to 7:56.
Wow. And I will say one thing, JR, that my wife will choke me if I don't tell you. It's Cleburne, not Claiborne.
Cleburne.
I
did not realize that.
You know, and a fine facility here. I'll say that.
I'm extremely impressed. First time I've ever been here. It's sunk. I kind of think that moisture might play a role, like in Hanley. It looks like the field may already. The turf may be getting a little moist.
Have a little dew on it across the way. It certainly looks like that.
Right,
but this is probably the biggest stadium St. James has played in since, I don't know, the end of the 22 season when the Trojans played.
Quite possibly. Yeah, this stadium is bigger than Hanley. I mean, the seating is bigger. I mean, it's dimension-wise similar. And, of course, Hanley is completely in a hole. Both of their end zones are elevated. And here – and this field, it's not north or south or east or west. I think it goes from west northwest to east southeast, which is rare. But the end zone to our right has obviously the field house for Claiborne County. It's not raised, but again, a fabulous facility, plenty of parking right off of downtown Heflin. I'm impressed, and I hope we come back again, and I hope we leave here a winner tonight.
We'll get some scores as we go through the evening. Remind you that elsewhere in Region 3 of Class 4A tonight, it's St. James here, of course, against Cleburne County. It's Hanley and Tallahassee, BTW and Munford, and Bullitt County and Talladega. And so that one, Tallahassee and Hanley, is a big one. Could have a lot to say about seeding for the playoffs. We're about ready to go here in the second half. Cleburne County will boot it away. They're in all black helmets with a red tiger paw, black jerseys, white numbers trimmed in red and white, black pants with a big red stripe on them. The Trojans in that solid white uniform, white helmet with the Trojan insignia in blue and gold on the side. Deep for the Trojans, Mikhail Delbridge and Benton Alford for St. James. And out on the field, head coach Larry Ware is having a conversation with the officials. I'll say to you 2 or 3 times, St. James coaching staff weren't very happy in the first half, especially on the interception thrown in the end zone. The Trojans had a wide open receiver who I'll call it lightly, was pulled down rather than saying he was tackled.
Right.
But the Trojans get the ball here, leading 7-0 and trying desperately to keep their playoff hopes alive. And I thought they were going to boot it away. Here we go. There's a football in the air, and this one's going to be a little short. Taken by Delbridge at the 23, sprinting to the middle. He'll be dropped at about the 30, and the Trojans will start there. Have to stop and see what color ink I used for St. James on my drive chart. And, that one's an easy one to answer. It's blue, Sonny. Come on now. All right, the football on the hash mark across the way. Mason Craig, the senior, is a quarterback. We expect to see Grant Phillips in the backfield, and I assume Zakowski's out there. I don't see him. Both seniors. The quarterback's a senior as well. 2 wide receivers now across the way for St. James. A little change in the formation. Zakowski in the backfield. Now hand it off to Craig on a little slip. Craig is pulled down across the 50. Craig came in motion, and they handed it off to him, much like a jet sweep. But a handoff, already had a head of steam in motion, and he sprinted across the 50. First down, Trojans. We see limping off the field, Dylan Hines. He had an ankle injury early in the season, and looks like he may have aggravated it a bit. That would be a big, big loss, especially on defense for St. James.
And in the kicking game.
Keep an eye on him. St. James, first down, the ball right on the 50-yard line. Trojans lead 7-0, just starting. Zakowski across the 50, a pickup of 2, maybe 3. With a mark it, pickup of 3. They mark it at the 47. Plays brought in by Isaac Caputo. St. James is shifted. Early in the season, it was throw the football, spread out. And, now Trojans in no big hurry at all to snap the ball, no big hurry to put the ball in the air either.
Right, and 5 different players have carried the ball so far.
Zakowski again. Zakowski inside the 45 to the 44. Not pretty, not fancy, but effective. And now it's 3rd down and 4. The ball at the 44, and the Trojans will need to get the nose of the ball touching the 40 for the first down. So it's a full 4 yards for St. James. We're early here in the 3rd quarter. The ball in the middle of the field. Knowles shifts from left to right in that wingback position for St. James. A lead block out here by Knowles, but the Trojans are not quite going to get there, and we'll see what head coach Larry Ware does. The ball's at the 42. Going to be a full 2 yards for St. James. We're early in the 3rd quarter, and I don't see the Trojans sending the long snapper out there. So I think St. James may go for it right here.
I think they will. Hines is out there, which is good to see him back up, but he's not going back, and apparently Cleburne County is not expecting a punt as well.
All right, big play here for St. James. It's 4th and 2, leading 7-0, and the ball in the middle of the field. Ford Bass in motion left to right. Bass has got it. Stutter step. Made a man miss. Ford Bass to the 30. Ford Bass to the 20. Bass to the 10. Stutter steps to the 4. First down and goal, St. James.
Oh, that play looked like it was dead after a 2-yard gain.
He made 2 guys miss him in the backfield. I wasn't sure he was getting the first down.
By far his best carry of the season.
First and goal, Trojans at the 4.
Great call. That's probably not the person you would expect the ball to be handed off to.
All right, the ball on the hash mark on this side. Alford splits out all the way across the field to the numbers, making the play really 10 on 10 for St. James. Ahead, Zakowski drives inside the 3 to the 2. Both hands on the football. He fumbled in the first half. I don't think he's going to do that again.
No.
Caputo brings the play in. In fact, that ball's on the 1-yard line. First and goal for St. James. 8:31 to go. Still haven't gotten in the short yardage offense all season. Shifting again is Knowles.
Craig keeps it here.
Craig, quarterback sneak, touchdown. Mason Craig's in there, and the Trojans lead 13-0. Craig on the sneak, but the big play, a 4th down run by Bass all the way to the 4. And the Trojans lead 13-0, 8:10 to go. That's another, 4 minutes run off the clock.
That's a 4-minute drive. That's quite acceptable. The more you keep the ball, the more you keep it out of their hands, and the more you're likely to keep them from making plays.
Salado will hold. That extra point's just kind of punched through and good. St. James leads 14-0 after scoring on the first possession of the second half. We'll be right back. This is St. James football on WRBZ.
Go, go, go. That's life. And at CB&S Bank, we help you keep up. We're redesigning financial freedom with the most sophisticated digital products. Check balances, pay bills, transfer funds, manage your card, and even deposit checks from wherever you are. Make purchases using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile device with Mobile Wallet in participating stores and restaurants. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
From all the employees at Adams Drugs, we want to say thank you to those who already trust us with your health care and prescription needs. If you are looking for a pharmacy, we would like to invite you to visit our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find a location nearest to you. We have 12 locations in the River region with services such as wellness screenings, blood pressure checks, and compounding, just to name a few. Please come in and experience the Adams Drugs difference. We look forward to serving you and your family.
Dylan Hines will boot it away for the Trojans. St. James scoring in, I've got 6 plays, JR.
I believe that's what I have too.
6-play drive, all on the ground. 69 yards. Hines will boot it away. Again, the return man for Cleveland County stands on the goal line. This one's going to be a little short. Taken at the 12. And the St. James coaching staff is beside themselves over there because he waved with his right hand, but no call. And the St. James coverage team kind of slowed up, and he returned the ball all the way out to the 34.
Yeah, that certainly looked like a fair catch symbol to me. I don't know why he would have done it there, but the complaints are falling on deaf ears again.
All right, the football at the 34. Cleveland County with their first possession of the second half. Again, they're relying on a ninth-grade quarterback, Jalen Baker, who has played very, very well. Hands this off to Hughes. Trojans are going to hit him near the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up a couple. Just ran off left tackle. I think Max Ward at the bottom of that pile. Nope, that's Zukowski. Why did I not know that? There's Ward coming out. You know, he's playing, but when it's time to come off the field, he's limping.
Right.
But when the ball snaps, he's not. All right, 2nd down and 7. Back to pass is Baker. Throws this one long and over the receiver, and now they're going to call pass interference.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, JR, before they snapped it on 1st down, we're going to see them throw the football.
Oh, they're going to have
They can't
to.
run.
They cannot run the ball. And I can see them calling that penalty, and it is only 15 yards, prevented possibly a bigger play. So
I think that's the
first
penalty?
time they have crossed the 50-yard line.
Is that penalty 4 against St. James?
That is number 4.
All right, the ball is the Trojan 49. Running the ball here. Again, that's that running back Hughes. He's dragged down. Pick up a couple of yards. Steenwinder on the bottom of the pile. Really not even a whole yard. Wiggum up front. Knowles and Steenwinder for the Trojans. Dylan Hines at defensive end. The backers are Wright and Zukowski. We'll get you the secondary after this snap. 2nd down and 9. Baker back to pass. Chased out of the pocket. That's holding. That's called literally. Knowles was tackled.
Yeah, that would have been a 2-point takedown. No question in wrestling.
It's going to be an interesting call for St. James. It's either 3rd and 8 or 2nd and 19.
I think they'll take the penalty myself, and it looks like they are. There was
Cleveland
absolutely
County
no
back.
question about
No.
that. Right in the middle of the field
and wide
everybody.
open. No, that's the defensive tackle for St. James, and he tried to outrun the offensive tackle who simply grabbed him.
I mean, you could hear it when he hit the ground.
Second down, and we'll call it 19. The ball back at the Cleveland County 42. Trojans need to make a play here. Comes a blitz from the top. Chasing him and dropping him. No, got his hands on him. Now they'll get him down. Ball on the ground. Ball on the ground. Trojans have it, I think.
They do.
They do. St. James still in Hines. Hines recovered a fumble, and St. James is in business again. They chased the quarterback, Baker. He eluded Hines, who blitzed off the wide side, but ran straight into another St. James defender.
And then Hines got him from behind and knocked the ball loose. Great stick to it.
Trojans with the football at the 34. Trying to take advantage of a turnover here, trying to get themselves a little breathing room. Trojans in the huddle, play clock at 15. 6:21 to go in the quarter. Craig under center. St. James moved.
They moved.
They'll blow this one dead.
Yeah, that was Dawson Knowles. Got his big old shoulders.
Yeah, just
Went
leaning forward a little bit and couldn't get stopped before the ball was snapped. It's a five-yard penalty, but that's all right. Trojans with the football here.
In plus territory.
Yep. Up 2 scores. Get this one in somehow. Get a little breathing room here. Ball at the 39, so it's 1st and 15. Trojans trying to take advantage of a Cleveland County turnover. Man in motion across the formation again. Same play that Grant Phillips ran, and Bass slipped down. Phillips ran that on the first play of the half, and Bass tried to cut and slipped, and it'll be 2nd down and 14.
And I wonder if that might be a symptom of the dewy field. As you can see, it's starting to hold a little moisture.
I don't think there's any question about that. In fact, I think he got back to the line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd down. The Trojans made some substitutes in the backfield back there. Phillips is in there along with maybe that's Bass and Andrew Yancey. Yep, it's Bass and Yancey in the backfield. Yancey with it, cutting back. Keep his head down. Keep your hands on the football, and he'll get 3 maybe, and it's going to be 3rd down and long. Be interesting to see what the Trojans choose to do here. Do you put the ball in the air, or are you satisfied to run it and try to punt Cleveland County deep?
Right.
You do the math from here, it's certainly it's a 56-yard field goal. Certainly the Trojans are not going to try that.
No, I wouldn't think so. Not.
If you could get the ball to the 30, that makes it a 47-yarder, and Hines' leg is long enough to try that for sure. So you need about 6 yards here. Back to pass is Craig. Chased out of the pocket, sprinting toward the 30. He got there, just what the doctor ordered. Craig back to the 30-yard line as Saleta goes in with the football under his arm. We'll see what the call is here. The ball right on the 30-yard line. Not only is the dew got to have the field a little wet, JR, but it's killing my voice out here. So I apologize. Looks like the Trojans are going to go for it.
I
from
believe
the 30.
they are. Do you suppose they might be just trying to draw them off sides? We'll see.
You know, Coach Perry called that play freeze,
right,
which meant you're not going to snap it. Bass in motion across the formation, and St. James moved, and I think they'll have to punt the ball now.
Right.
And I don't think they were going to snap it.
I'm pretty sure they weren't. That's
Gonna
something
take the
that
ball
will
back to the
concern
35.
Coach Ware. That's now 4 false start penalties.
Yeah,
that's something they haven't had a problem with all season.
And that's 3 penalties here in the 3rd quarter. We're going to try a field goal from
field
here,
goal,
which will be 52 yards.
That would be a school record. School
Now,
record is 51.
You know, and
Oh,
one
well,
of the reasons why you can try it is if you could get the ball to the end zone, it's a touchback.
right.
You know,
Unlike one that was incorrectly spotted in the Talladega game, I believe.
Talladega or
This is for
Trinity,
a
one of the
school
other.
record.
52-yard field goal right in the middle of the field. Salado will hold. And Hines will boot it. Snap's good. That baby's long enough, but it's wide left. I mean, it
had the distance. But that's all right. That's, in essence, like a punt into the end zone because the ball will be down to the 20-yard line.
Assuming they do it right here in Cleveland County. They didn't do it right
they will.
in Montgomery.
And I tried, even over the PA.
And I have a buddy who has been officiating a long time, and I called him the next morning and said, I'm just making sure they haven't changed the rules. And he said, no. You want me to check on the officiating crew? I said, no. I just wanted you to confirm that the rule hadn't changed. All right, Cleveland County with their second possession of the second half, starting on the 20. After a 52-yard Dylan Hine field goal attempt was wide left, but plenty long. The Trojans defense can dig in, running straight ahead, not much. A yard maybe. Zakowski cleaned up, but the first guy to hit him out there was Wiggum. The secondary for the Trojans, I think I owe you that. Darian Williams at one corner, Andrew Salada at the other. The safeties are Luke Catchings and Grant Phillips, and the rover for the Trojans is the quarterback, Mason Craig, or I think they actually call that position Trojan for St. James,
right.
Outside linebacker. St. James with a funny formation across the way in coverage, but back to pass is Baker. Completed, but Yancey hits the receiver as soon as he catches it. It's a pickup of a couple, and it's 3rd and 5 for St. James.
All right. Yeah.
Craig talking to the coaching staff here, Jeff Corley. I think St. James was misaligned on defense here to the short side of the field, but the quarterback Baker threw it across the way.
Right. Unfortunately, Yancey and Catchings were on the right page and made a quick tackle.
All right, 3rd and 5. The Trojans can make a stop here. Baker back to pass, looking, chased out of the pocket, and he's going to be dropped again on a big sack. And it'll be a punting situation for Cleveland County. 2:23 to go in the quarter. All the way back to the 19, inside the 20-yard line. Benton Alford will stand at the 45. You know, you don't see that very much. Head coach Larry Ware is down here telling the punt returner where to stand.
Right.
Across the way. Okay, now St. James is covering the sprinter. The sprinter across the way had no one on him. Don't think they'll fake it here. I wouldn't think. No, and a bad kick. It's going to hit at the 50, but take a Cleveland County bounce.
A huge bounce.
All the way down to the 30. That may be off the side of his foot.
But had the perfect spin. Spun forward, and it's going to end up being a 45-yard punt, despite looking quite horrible, quite frankly.
St. James will take over at their 30, leading 14-0, 1:36 to go in the quarter. So does it mean 70% of the time you won't go 70 yards?
That's exactly. I mean, what we're 2 for 2 tonight, right?
I hope Spence is listening tonight. He'll get a charge out of that.
I had forgotten that, but I mean,
he said it every time the ball was on the 20-yard line.
Very, very accurate.
All right, the ball's on the near hash mark. Jack Caradori, I got it right that time, out over the ball at center. We'll get the rest of the offensive linemen for you in a second. Craig hands under center. Still in the wing tee are the Trojans. Running into the strength of the formation is Zakowski, and he got hit right when he got the football and did nothing but lower his shoulder and run over the edge player, Camden Beam, for Cleveland County.
Right, and turned a half-yard gain into a 2.5-yard gain by himself.
Let's see. So it's on this side, it's Wiggum at guard and Jake Green at tackle. And across the way it's Steenwinder and Max Ward. So those are your linemen. Knowles is at wing, and St. James has jumped off sides again. Good gracious!
I don't know
alive.
if they've done something to change their count or not, but apparently it's not. And it seems to be the same side of the line jumping each time.
You know, it just changes everything about this offense. 56 seconds to go in the quarter. If everybody back at the St. James Radio Network will get ready, we will not play any commercials between quarters, but we will enjoy Basket Case. And JR looks at me and says, basket what?
And that's the first Basket Case notification I've had all.
Oh, we do it every week.
Oh,
JR.
I know that.
All right, here we go. Toss sweep to the short side of the field. Zakowski with running room up near the 40, and he's made it a third and short. Clock runs, and I think that's going to be it for the quarter. I'm going to pitch it out of here as soon as I see Larry Ware tell him not to snap it. And he's telling them not to snap it at the end of 3. It's St. James 14 and Cleveland County nothing. Enjoy Basket Case. St. James football on WRBZ. Back here in Cleveland County, St. James stopped short of the first down on third. In fact, the Trojans may have lost a couple of yards, and it's going to be 4th and about 4. And I think you'll see the Trojan punting team in here. St. James unable to make a first down on that possession. Really, that false start penalty got the Trojans in a hole. And Hines will boot this one away. I've held my breath all night, so I'm just going to say it. Alaric Ware kind of makes me nervous back there returning punts. Trojans got to cover this baby, leading 14-0. We're early in the fourth quarter. Good snap. Hines in no hurry, and he boots this baby away. It almost hit a Cleveland County player who had his back turned, and this baby will bounce and will be downed at the 16. All right. When you're 1-6, you hold your breath. Ball's at the 26.
26, right. Yeah, it looked like there was going to be a little extracurricular activity as St. James made it a point to, for some reason, keep the Cleveland County players away from the ball. They'd be thrilled to death if they touched it. You know, that'd be instant attack.
All right, the ball's at the 26. Trojans lead by 2 scores. This is a big possession right here. Big possession for St. James. Cleveland County with 3 wide receivers, and they'll run it inside. Nothing there. What a nice play by Dylan Hines. What a nice play.
There's been no room right up
to
the
run the
middle.
ball.
Absolutely no room all night. I think they may have had one running play at the middle, which gained 5 yards.
We checked scores during halftime. I'll let you know, as expected, Handley all over Tallahassee, 35-7. BTW all over Munford, and Bullock County leading Talladega only 14-7 at halftime. Trojans blitzing again, chase the quarterback out of the pocket, hit him short of the first down, but it'll be 3rd and about 2.
Got a little help by the umpire there. Got in the quarterback's way, and he had to change direction, which may have been just enough to hold up for the first down.
3rd and a yard. The line to make is just across the 35, and the ball's at the 34. We'll call it 3rd and a yard, but it's an itty bit more than a yard. Quarterback Baker is in the gun. He's going to run it straight ahead. Got the first down. Broke a tackle across the 40. First down of the second half by Cleveland County.
Besides the pass interference penalty, right?
That's right. I didn't count that. You're right, JR.
Picky, I know.
This is only play 9 of the second half of the Tigers.
Right.
Ball right in the middle of the field, and they're in their passing formation. Back to pass. Baker looking, throws this one long, and I don't think they're going to call interference on that.
Yeah, but which way?
Yeah.
I mean, Williams was basically standing there, and he looked like he was pushed.
Pass was way overthrown. That's a 15-yard penalty in high school from the spot of the foul. That's the second. That's another penalty. That's 8, I think, on the night.
Right.
You know, penalties just killing the Trojans, and missed opportunities really ought to be. We ought to be sitting up here eating pizza. Hughes outside, got running room, and the last guy trips him up out there for St. James.
And for the first time in the game, Cleveland County has a bit of a spark.
Yeah.
They're getting to the line quick. They're upright. St. James may be getting a little tired, but the defense hadn't been on the field that much, so we'll see how they hold up.
Yeah, the problem is the defense is the offense.
That's true.
In terms of personnel. The ball at the 36. This drive started at the Cleveland County 26. Now I think St. James call timeout. Just want to regroup a little bit, get the defense a chance to catch their breath, and I'll catch mine. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Trojans lead 14-0.
All aboard for Healthy Smiles. At Dentistry for Children, they love to make kids smile. Dr. Schreiber and Dr. Thomas specialize in pediatric dentistry, treating infants, children, and patients with special needs. You can trust Dentistry for Children to provide the highest quality care for children of all ages. Beautiful smiles begin at Dentistry for Children. Call today to make your appointment with their professional caring staff. Dentistry for Children in Montgomery and Wetumpka, proudly making kids smile for over 40 years.
Nothing gets your attention like the pain you get when it hurts to walk. When you have that pain, reach out to Southern Specialty Physicians. Dr. Brian Sellers is a board-certified vascular surgeon with over 15 years of experience. And Dr. Brandon McCullum is an experienced podiatrist. Southern Specialty Physicians are working to keep Alabama walking. Located across from the AUM Water Tower on Sydney Curve and online at ssp.care.
It's also getting a little cool here in Cleveland County. 8:45 to go. Trojans lead 14-0, but Cleveland County with their best drive of the night. Baker back to pass, throws this one long as well. That's interference on the Cleveland County that's not called, and that's a touchdown.
He called it anyway, yeah.
And it's 14-6. 8:38 to go. Just threw that one as far as he could. And the receiver for Cleveland County just outfought Capilouto for the football.
All right, number 3, Kobe Hale.
The kicker.
I remember the kicker for last year, Eric Escondon Paredes.
Okay. Whatever you say, JR.
Right. Left-footed kicker.
Snap's good, and it's booted through, and it's 14-7. I told you, JR, but that this felt a lot like a baseball game where you were ahead 1-0, but you had left the bases loaded about 4 times.
Right.
And in those situations in baseball, here's what always happens. They hit a 3-run double in the top of the 8th, and you look up and go, we ought to be ahead now 7-3, and we're down 3-1.
Right.
I mean, it never fails. St. James has had a pocket full of opportunities, and Jeff Corley looking at the white hat, and now he just called unsportsmanlike conduct on the St. James sidelines. Jeff Corley was all over the white hat about the fact that they did not call pass interference on offensive pass interference. And that means they're going to kick off from the St. James 45. And when I said on the call that there was interference, it was interference on the offensive player. But just can't do that. Just can't do that.
I mean, across the line may have said something he shouldn't have and just didn't give up, may have been warned to give it up.
Now St. James has got to put the hands team in.
Right.
Got to put the hands team in because, Cleveland County can try an onside kick. Man alive. Penalty 6 this half. .8:36 to go. St. James just got to get their poise back here. Still leading 14-7. Got to cover this kick, boys. They'll pooch it deep. The Trojans,
they were offsides.
They were offsides.
But that was well covered.
He was way offsides, wasn't he?
Right, and on one of the far deep, not on the line, but Catchings on the far side, offered on this side, both instinctively went back, and Catchings would have caught a kick with no problem and probably picked up about 10 yards or so.
All right, now they move the ball back to midfield after that penalty for offsides against Cleveland County. And we assume that the kicker, what's his name again?
That is Eric Escondon Paredes. Roll your R's.
Nah, I can't do it. Sorry. All right, they'll boot it away here. See if they try. Nope, he'll kick this one through the end zone, and the Trojans will start on the 20, and I'm okay with that. Okay. Big series for St. James. Again, I'm not going to list the opportunities that have gotten away. There's no real reason for that. Trojans starting here with a 1-score lead.
But there's no need to, drop the game plan. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Try to get 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 yards on first down. Run the ball, run the clock, and everything should be okay.
Cleveland County's creeping up a little bit now with 8 guys in the box. Trojans run straight ahead. Zakowski made a cut, made a man miss, broke a tackle. They piled on and hit him late, didn't call it.
No.
Picked up about 6. If you're watching on Facebook, you will see that they're going to hit him late. Zakowski, I think, lost his shoe, but he got it back on. Ball at the 26, 2nd and 4. Get 6 yards on first down. Just get the snap count, gentlemen. Zakowski can't get his shoe on, and they're going to give him time. All right, now they start the play clock.
And the game clock.
And St. James in the huddle and shouldn't be hurrying to the line. We'll see if Craig slows everybody up. Hands under center. Play clock now under 10. They'll shift the wing back. Toss it to Zukowski. And man alive, did he get hit behind the line of scrimmage.
Kevin Bates, who's usually the offensive star, he was zeroed in on Zukowski and direct hit.
Yeah, no. I'm checking. The Bates kid had just made that play. You know, Todd Bates, who was an all-SEC defensive tackle from Alabama, was from Cleveland County. I don't know if they're related, but I know this. This is the big play. The game clock down at 7:15 by the time they snap it. Trojans are nursing a one-score lead, and it's 3rd and 9. Mason Craig rolls right, tosses this one, and it's caught. Oh, my goodness. All the way out to the 50-yard line. It's caught by Andrew Yancey. And Craig got plastered when he threw that pass. And no call for roughing the passer.
Not at all. But, that almost looked like a wounded duck, but Yancey zeroed in on it and, right to him, had no direct coverage, and, what a big play.
Just kind of lofted over the linebacker, and St. James converts, and it's 1st and 10 from the 48. I'm going to watch the clock, which is not running, and I'm not sure why.
Because they knocked him out. I think they did knock him out of bounds,
okay.
Yes.
Now Yancey's got the football. Yancey running inside the 40. Yancey with a first down. Hold on to that football. First down, Trojans.
Got a lot of help from Mr. Steenwater that time.
From the offensive lineman pushing him. Now they mark him at the 39. I don't think so. The 41. So it will be.
Yeah, it's a 39. Yeah, it's a nice 9-yard gain. Yeah, take him out after that play.
All right, the ball here on the near hash. I'll keep an eye on the clock for you. 6:21 to go. Trojans nursing a 14-7 lead. Craig, hands under center. Again, Yancey. First down into the secondary to the 31. First down, St. James.
And I know he's been in the game, but, I guess you have to consider him fresh legs.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he made a big sack in the first half playing nose guard.
Big sack and made at least one big pass defense also.
Ball's at the 31-yard line, 5:57. Got to get this one in, boys.
Right.
Got to punch this one in, whatever you have to do. You got to play, coach. Now's the time to use it. Man in motion is Knowles across. Resets on the left side now. Here come the linebackers for Cleveland County, and Yancey's hitting the backfield. He'll be pushed forward. Not much. Back, maybe a yard.
Right.
So
he's doubled his season carries on this drive. Well, plus a catch. And he's still in.
Yeah, the ball's right on the 30. Yeah, they've got hamburgers and hot dogs for sale across the way. I guess they've got them for sale over here. No, they've closed up over here. I hope they don't close the door because we're stealing power from the concession stand.
Yeah.
All right,
send him the
Trojans
bill.
shift the play clock down to 1.
Hey,
You're going to have to call timeout.
The shift was too late that time.
All right, let's set this for you. We'll keep it right here. 4:51 to go. The Trojans have now used 2 timeouts here in the second half. It's second down, and we're going to call it 10. It's actually 9 3/4. Trojans lead 14-7. They got this ball with 8:38 to go in the fourth quarter. Now 4:51, so they've held it almost 4 minutes. Big pass play.
Yeah, half the field, 50 yards, 2 first downs, the big catch and the big run, both by Yancey.
That throw to him on third down. If you get out of here alive, that may be the play of the game.
No doubt. That and the big run by Bass in the first half.
Zukowski out there, but now I think he's going to come off. Ball on the near hash mark here, and you're right. You know, the field is kind of shiny now, which generally indicative of that artificial turf being a little damp.
And there hadn't been much activity on that end of the field since the first quarter and all the turnovers.
All right, looking to the sideline is the quarterback, Craig. The Trojans are going to shift. Run it here to the near sidelines with Yancey, and he'll get bumped out of bounds and then hit late, and there's no flag.
No, of course not, even on this side of the field.
Wow, and the folks here from St. James are about to lose their mind. He did pick up only a couple, and here's another big third down for St. James. The ball, all right, from here, it's a 45-yard field goal.
Right.
Like Cleveland County again with 8 men in the box. Safeties up real tight. Mason Craig tripped, and Yancey got hit. Almost to the 25.
Right.
It looks like St. James will try another field goal. 2 misses already tonight. One hit the upright on the last play of the first half.
And with the line of
And then a
scrimmage,
52-yarder had enough leg but was short. Was wide. That made no sense. Had enough leg but was short. Had enough leg but wide left.
Right.
This field goal will be a 43-yarder. 4:07 to go. Blocked. Get on the ball, St. James. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy. That's the first one of those.
All
season.
Goodness.
Yeah, on the right side, the ball was just hit. It wasn't kicked low. It was kicked pretty high enough, but they had the pressure, and fortunate the ball went almost straight down and only went back to about where the kick took place from, but Cleveland County has the ball and has momentum.
3:56 to play. Trojans lead 14-7. And the ball's going to be put in the air. I don't think there's any question about that.
No, and chances are to be to the far sideline away from the St. James coaches.
To run this one, Hughes hit near the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple of yards. Yep, across the 35 to the 36. So they picked up 2, 2nd down and 8. I don't think you'll see them punt the football, even here from inside their own territory. Game clock down to 3:30. Back to pass. He's hit as he throws it, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by the Trojans across the way. Who's got it? Mason Craig.
That's Mason Craig. Luke Catchings got in and hit the ball and hit the arm, and it fluttered maybe no more than 5 yards, and it wasn't the easiest ball to catch. It was floating in
diving at it, really.
Right. Big play, another turnover.
All right. Just a couple of first downs, guys. I'm too old for this. All right, St. James with the ball on the Tiger 39. Clinging, barely hanging on to playoff hopes. Trying to get out of here and get back to Montgomery while they're still alive. Hands under center is Craig. Here comes a blitz. Yancey, very little. Blow the whistle, gentlemen. Maybe a yard.
Or don't blow the whistle and let the time run off. And now they've stopped the clock for some reason.
Yep. The Cleveland County call timeout.
Oh, indeed, they
Trojans
did.
lead 14-7. We'll quickly take a 60-second break. We'll be right back. St. James football.
When you speak with patients at Just for Grins Orthodontics, you hear things like, the staff is great. My daughter's teeth look perfect. I've been using them for over 2 years, and my service has been nothing short of amazing. Or, my teeth have always made me a little self-conscious. Just for Grins fixed that, and not only do my teeth look great, they make me feel great. If you or your family need braces or Invisalign in a lively environment using the latest technologies with over 3 decades of experience, let's make the smile of your dreams a reality. Visit justforgrinsortho.com. A fire can spread through your home or business in less than 2 minutes. That's why it's important to think ahead and have the proper fire protection installed before it's needed. Brendel Sprinkler Company can inspect your current system and help make sure that you have the proper equipment when it's needed. Brendel works in new construction, existing homes, and renovations. They not only want to help extinguish fires, they want to save lives. Since 1960, with over 5,000 successful installations. Find them online at brendelsprinkler.com.
St. James on 2nd down and 9. A man in motion is Phillips. Running inside Zukowski and not much. Cleveland County is absolutely certain St. James is not going to throw the football. And on the snap of the ball, the safety sprinting up to the line. Keep my eye on the clock. Now inside 2 minutes. Excuse me, inside 3 minutes. 2:45. Trojans lead 14-7. 2 wide receivers now. A wing back and a running back for the Trojans. Craig runs out of a tackle, and he's just going to sprint toward the sidelines, and he got hit. Stayed in bounds, though. It's going to be 4th down and 9.
And Cleveland County had to take the timeout because he did stay in bounds.
2:20 to go. That leave them with 1. Are you counting?
That is their second. Yes, they will have 1 left.
All right, so let's set it for us. The ball's at the Cleveland County 35. It's 4th and 6. They'll need to get to the 29. I don't know if you risk. I know you don't risk another field goal.
No.
Yeah,
I think you just run a play.
Yeah, get the clock started.
Right. And at this point, even a pass, a deep pass wouldn't be bad because if you don't make the 4th down conversion, the clock is going to stop anyway. So, I'd love to see him try that little pass to Zukowski that was so successful last week.
Yeah, just a little.
About 5 yards down the field.
A little flare.
If he can make, 8 yards, we're in business.
Yep, need a first down. Make a first down, and it's for all intents and purposes over. 2:20 to go. Trojans with a bunch of opportunities just have been unable to capitalize, but none of that matters now. It's 4th down and 6. The ball at the 35. Can the Trojans make a first down? Craig back to pass, rolling with time, stops, tosses it out there, and it's completed. First down, St. James, and that might just do it.
There's that pass to Zukowski. It might have been a little deeper than expected, but
he was so wide open that he really short-armed it.
Right.
But got it out there to him. Sometimes those are the hardest ones to throw.
Oh, no doubt.
When the receiver's wide open. It's like catching a one-hopper at shortstop, and the base runner's slow. And instead of firing it, you aim it over there. All right, here's the ball for the Trojans inside the 20. In the single wing formation, and Lord have mercy, did Grant Phillips get hit in the backfield.
That started off bad. It was almost a bad snap.
Yeah. Almost fumbled the snap. I think Cleveland County's taking their last time out. They did, and we'll take our last break. We'll be right back after this 60-second break. Trojans lead, trying to run out the clock. This is St. James football.
Confidence, experience, credibility. When your family is at stake, you need an attorney who's built a reputation on these 3 words. Katie Steenwinder. Whether it's divorce, custody, adoptions, or child support, Katie Steenwinder. Serving clients from Prattville and Wetumpka to Montgomery and Elba, Katie Steenwinder has developed her reputation with credibility, experience, and confidence. Call the law office of Katie Steenwinder in Montgomery, 262-2844. When your family is at stake, Katie Steenwinder. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you're looking for commercial real estate, Moore Company Realty is your go-to choice. The experienced team has a deep understanding of local markets and can help you find the perfect commercial property for sale or lease. They also offer comprehensive commercial property management services to ensure your investment is well taken care of. Their expertise and dedication to client satisfaction has allowed them to thrive for over 130 years. Find out more at moorecompanyrealty.com.
All right, second down. Trojans lost about 3. Ball in the middle of the field. Little toss sweep, and good gracious alive. Ford Bass is smothered. Got the clock going. Let's do some math, JR. 36, so it'll be under a minute when they snap this one. Meaning, if you don't call timeout yourself,
I would say
St. James really doesn't have to do anything but take a knee.
That's
they can take a knee twice.
The most they could give, I think, would be maybe 15 seconds, depending on the length of this play.
I think Craig may just keep it himself. We'll see. Hands under center. Play clock at 3. Craig hands it to Bass on a little reverse. He stayed in bounds. 40 seconds on the play clock, 44 seconds on the game clock. So St. James can't run it to 0, but can run it really, really close.
Right.
Just 1 first down on this possession. Is that it?
That's correct, though. They started at the 39-yard line after the interception.
All right, the ball at the 24 is 4th down and about 14. There literally will be 4 seconds to go. I'm not sure if St. James is going to call timeout or go ahead and snap it. Oh, no, the snap bounced back there. Mason Craig is going to run out of bounds, take a knee, and the Trojans are going to get out of here.
How about that?
Oh, my goodness. Snapped, and Craig just ran across the field until the clock went to 0, and Trojans win 14-7. And if you're in blue and gold, you are allowed to take a big, deep sigh. Trojans win 14-7. We'll recap it for you. St. James led 7-0 at halftime. St. James scored on their first possession of the game, driving 79 yards in 12 plays. Miles Zakowski scoring from 9 yards out, and the Trojans ate up 6 minutes and 40 seconds on that scoring drive. St. James had chance after chance after chance, including turning the ball over twice inside the 5-yard line in the first half. Led 7-0 at halftime. St. James scored on their first possession of the second half, 69 yards in 6 plays. The big plays, a 4th down run by Bass down to the 4-yard line, and Craig sneaked it in. The Trojans led 14-0 with 6:21 to go in the third quarter. St. James missed a 52-yard field goal, had a 43-yard field goal block. But in the end, St. James able to run out the clock and get victory number 2, and they keep their playoff chances alive. It'll be next Friday night against Tallahassee. Win that one, and St. James has a legitimate chance to keep the 12-year playoff streak alive. We'll take our final 2-minute break of the night to give JR an opportunity to catch us up on the stats. We'll check some scores, and we'll wrap it up for you. St. James wins 14-7 here in Cleveland County. We'll be back in 2 minutes. St. James football on WRBZ.
When most people think of landscaping, they picture a few shrubs and a patch of grass. But at Tanner Landscaping, we transform spaces into lush, vibrant paradises. Based in Pike Road, our family-owned business specializes in both residential and commercial landscaping and irrigation. Our talented team is dedicated to making your landscape dreams come true. Find us on Facebook at Tanner Landscaping, LLC. We are proud supporters of St. James football. Go Trojans.
When a sports injury has you sidelined, Baptist Ortho Now offers comprehensive orthopedic care with no appointment from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with board-certified specialists treating injuries and expert physical therapists administering everything from sports medicine to everyday recovery treatment. Baptist Ortho Now, getting you off the bench and back in the action. East Chase across from Target.
In challenging times, trust is everything. At the Bush Law Firm, they specialize in debtors and creditors' rights, offering expert legal restructuring for businesses facing bankruptcy. As one of only 2 firms in Montgomery County equipped to handle such cases, the focus is on guiding you through insolvency with precision and care. Restructuring for a brighter future starts here. The Bush Law Firm. Navigate your path to stability. Visit us online at bushlegalfirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you want to see your money grow without a whole lot of fuss, well, you're sure to find some peace of mind at Riverbank and Trust.
Hi, this is Billy Wiggum with Riverbank and Trust. When you need a winning game plan for your finances, trust our home team of community bankers. From local banking expertise to newest innovations in technology, we have all the right strategies for your financial success. Experience the home team advantage for yourself at Riverbank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We're back here in Cleveland County, and there's a relieved bunch of St. James people who've made the drive from Montgomery up here to Cleveland County without a band, without the cheerleaders, but somehow or another missed 3 or 4 scoring opportunities, and we had to sweat the last couple of minutes, but the Trojans improved to 2-6, 2-3 in the region. And next Friday night will be a pretty important game against Tallahassee. And now this is pretty funny, JR.
Oh, this is great.
This is priceless. The tradition in St. James is the football team faces the band at the end of the game. They play the alma mater and the team sings. There's no band.
No.
And
Luke
Catchings
playing drum major.
And they're singing the alma mater without a band.
Right.
That's pretty funny.
Almost in key too.
Well, I think you've gone a step too far,
I was
JR.
to say 63 years old, hearing may be going just a bit.
All right, are you caught up on the stats?
A little bit. I thought it was very impressive. Mason Craig did not throw an incomplete pass tonight.
How many did we complete? 5.
5 out of 5.
If we completed 5 passes against Trinity, that game would have been different. 5 passes against MA, that game would have been different.
Only 4 of them were caught by St. James players.
That's okay.
But, that's fantastic. And that one pass to Yancey, I mean, like you said, that's going to end up being the play of the game.
Yep.
Fantastic. We held Cleveland County to 7 first downs, and 3 of those were on defensive pass interference penalties, which is big. I don't have the yardage, but I'm going to say, with the exception of the touchdown pass, Cleveland County probably had 80 yards of total offense.
Not much.
Not much at all.
Good defensive effort.
And they only ran, I believe, 14 plays in the
second half. Yeah. Didn't have the ball much. St. James kept the football.
So, I mean, you cannot credit the defense enough. They let 1 or 2 slip by. They let the referees get them once or twice. But besides that, they followed the game plan. They ran the ball. I would say they probably run for 200, 210 yards. I'll figure it out tonight on the bus or when I get home. And
everybody can look up stjtrojans.com and see the details tomorrow, right?
I love nothing more than shameless plugs. But yes, it will be on there, plus the game recap.
Well, St. James gets out of here.
It's good to write a happy one.
That's right. That's right. It's been a long year. And I can say this, with this win, they avoid being the 5th team in St. James history to go 1-9.
Right.
We were holding our breath. And next Friday night, they'll take on Tallahassee, and with a win, will essentially lock up the 12th straight season to make the playoffs for St.
That's
James.
right. It will be probably a fourth seed and probably a
That's right.
road trip.
A road trip to Bibb County.
Bibb County, but
where
hey,
hopes go to die. But that's
true,
okay.
but I remember one of the first games, in fact, the first game we ever did on radio, we made one of those trips down to Ashford.
Yep.
Who was ranked 7th in the state at the time. And we lived to see the second
right.
week of the playoffs.
That's right.
So it can happen. And every year, there are 2 or 3 4-seed teams that beat ones.
That's right.
So why can't it be us?
That's right. Well, we got to get there first.
Let's get
and
there
that's next
first.
Friday night against Tallahassee. St. James wins tonight, 14-7 here in Cleveland County. And next Friday, we'll join you at 6:15 from the J.R. Brown press box atop Carlisle Field on the campus of St. James, where the Trojans and the Tallahassee Tigers will make a decision about who makes the playoffs. We're glad that you spent your Friday night with us on what was a beautiful night for football here. Again, at probably, except for that state championship game at Auburn, the nicest football stadium this team has played in a long, long time.
Agreed.
So one final time for head of school Larry McLemore, for head coach Larry Ware, for his coaching staff, for the young men who played football in blue and gold, for J.R. Brown and the folks at Little Engine Broadcasting. I'm Sonny Brassfield. Final score, St. James 14, Cleveland County 7. Wish you'd been here to see this one, Rich. Gus, we love you. Good night and be safe.
Thank you for joining us for Trojan Football. This is Head of School Dr. Larry